Everybody, this is a big series. We are back for season 11 finals. This is going to be a fun showdown between Snarkify Rebellion coming in from the winner's bracket. Despite what the bracket says here, they do get a one-game advantage in this series. I am joined by Brewer, and I'm going to ask him to kind of intro this because I am fighting battles with my computer right now. So,
Hey Dean, happy to be here. This is going to be a fun one. I mean, it's been a competitive season up through this point. And I think we've got two really good teams going to battle it here for the finals. Yeah, I don't know what you're expecting. I know we discussed it on the podcast. I think, the general sentiment seems to be that, SR is the favored team. So I'm really excited personally to see how PT shows up today. We talked about it some on the podcast. I think that game one's really going to set the tone for the whole series. I think if PT can come in game one and have a strong showing, have a good performance, it'll just completely, flip the narrative that's maybe, leading into the series on its head. If Snarkify is able to come in and pick up right where they left off from that winner's final, which was, pretty dominant victories, then I think people are going to be feeling like they may just be in a position to steamroll this one. I'm hoping we get a close competitive series. I expect that PT will come in with some fire behind them. They've had a lot of time to prep. They've had a lot of time to try to come up with their strategy, figure out, what went wrong, how they can do better. And I'm really curious to see what that is. I think we have a little bit of time before we get into this first draft. It's looking like they didn't put a time, but we should have a little bit of time here to kind of discuss it.
Unless they're going pretty quick.
We'll assume 8:10 then. So that gives us like 6 minutes to talk about it. So, because we are in the grand finals and because Snarkify Rebellion is starting in the grand finals since they won that winners match, they start with a 1-0 lead for anybody that's not aware. They start with a 1-0 series lead. It's still a best of 5, but, at most it could be 4 games. They have that 1-0. The flip side is because they got that 1-0 advantage, it counts as a game 1 win for them, which means Project Tuesdays, as that team that essentially lost game 1, did get side selection for what's actually the first game getting played tonight, but is game 2 in the series, if that makes sense for everyone. And interestingly enough, Project Tuesdays has opted for the red side with that in mind.
Yeah, that is immediately throwing up red flags for me. My read all season, and just in Fearless and Pro Play in general, I feel like blue side is almost always favored. You get access to those first pick champions, and you usually get to save yourself a ban. The only possible reasoning I could think of for going red is if you think there's just way too many priority pick champions, and you're not going to be able to ban them all, and you think you can steal 2. The problem is, it's only a good strategy if you think there are exactly 3 or I guess 6 priority pick champions, because if there's 4 or 5 that are going to get through the bans, then what ends up happening is the other team's going to get 2 or 3 of them, and they get first choice. That first pick is always really crucial, in my opinion, in Fearless, especially because that champion is going to get disabled for the rest of the series. My thinking is when it's not Fearless, you have to give up a ban, but you still do get the big advantage of red side. But when you're able to just snipe stuff out and it's gone forever, that's always pretty tough. So I'm wondering what PT's motivation was for choosing it, but I think we'll get to see shortly in about 5 minutes. But anyway, our key player for Project Tuesdays is going to be LSD Dreams. That's not super surprising. His 5 champions have kind of really fleshed out over the course of the season. The Anivia and Ari are definitely the higher priority ones, although Syndra, Akali, and Galio seems to be the ones that he picks the most, and he's actually able to get. Really good win rate. He's gone up to basically 67% over 63 games, which is very, very impressive. Only 20 champions played, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. And our other key player is also LSD Dreams. God damn it. Okay. The roster tool is not working in my favor. So
that's how key LSD Dreams is to this series for both teams, Dean. But while you're fixing that, yeah, I do think, for PT, I am looking at LSD to kind of maybe be that key player for them this series. I think, when SR has looked their best, it's been when Sandy's been playing really, really well. Across the board, I'd say all members of that team have been playing exceptional. You don't get to the finals with a almost undefeated record if that's not the case. But when they've looked their best to me, it is when Sandy's been really performing well. I thought Sandy really got the better of LSD Dreams maybe in that last matchup. And I think if LSD Dreams can maybe turn the tides there, even potentially take some early lane advantages, so you can snowball into, jungle mid advantages. I think that could really help their team out a lot. It will be curious to see what they do as far as like pick ban for him, because I'll expect that we'll definitely see that Anivia ban remain. And when they played just a couple weeks ago, it was, multiple bans thrown at him with the Ahri as well. Although I did just get indicated, Dean, that the teams have went ahead and jumped into draft. So.
Oh, okay. Shoot, that sucks.
Yeah. And
okay,
so as we were getting into that, it is the bans that we kind of expected. It was that Ahri, Anivia, and Smolder. Project Tuesdays chose to ban Victor, Syndra, Nocturne. And then picks across the board, not too surprising. What's really exciting here is we are going to get to see the hero Lee Sin come through. That's very exciting to me. We talked about that on podcast.
I'm kind of happy that the ban was dropped there. Seeing the Nocturne come out as the ban of the first game is exactly why I didn't want them to pick red side. I don't think it's the best idea. But I think given that the Victor is the first ban, you need to ban Anivia. I do think that's a bit interesting that they chose to ban the Victor first for that reason. And if I was in this position, I would probably wait to ban Victor until third. The Nocturne ban's going to come through, so you can ban that and then hold the Victor to maybe see if they leave up the Anivia, because I think that is one of the champions that Sandy could trade into it and feel fine. Well, but they are hitting Sandy's pool pretty hard. They're taking out the Vigar here as well.
Yeah, but interesting to me, and something I talked about, they just went ahead and grabbed Dave's Vayne instead of letting him fall to second phase. I believe in the last series, they let him fall, and he was getting those round 2 bans thrown at him. I really like this adaptation. Yes, I'm not going to say Vayne blind pick top is like unpunishable, but I think it's a pick Dave has been so good on, and I like that adaptation. And this to me indicates, they're going to give LSD Dreams that last pick, which I think as the key player here is going to be crucial for their success. And you can guarantee a winning 2v2 mid jungle by pairing a really strong counter pick mid with the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd expect to see Fatal's pick come through here. They see the Yunara Renata. This has got to be a lane you've prepped for. The Lee Sin's got to be something you prep for as well. They picked the Xin Zhao blind into it, so I think they must have had some clue into it, or maybe they're just happy enough with the Xin. We see the Karma come through. It's not necessarily the best pairing with Caitlyn, but I think it's pretty good. Into what's picked so far for SR. It allows you to kite a bit extra, and Xin Zhao with Enchanters is really, really good, so they're helping out in that regard. I would expect... you need a lot of damage from LSD Dreams because you're super heavy on the AD side right now. Malphite taken out means you're going to be a little more okay with that. Looks like Sandy might just go ahead and blind the Vladimir here, which would be awesome. That is just going to come through.
Wow.
I think we've seen it like maybe once or twice before. I think it would have been in sign-up games. I don't think we've seen it a ton, but LSD Dreams is going to have the chance to counter it. I think we could see a Malzahar. I think that's a good pick into the Yunara and the Vladimir. Really easy to shut down those carries. However, it's really easy for that channel to get interrupted with the Renata ultimate, but honestly, with how long it takes that ability to come out, it might not be the best counter into it. I do like the bans coming out from both teams here. I think there's been a lot of good adaptation, but the Vladimir seems like it might be going to the top lane into the Vayne. They clearly had time to prep the pick, and we don't actually know. Lissandra top, I think, has been growing a little bit. So one of these two picks is the counter into the Vayne, and SR really good drafting here, leaving it up in the air. It's not actually really told, and LSD Dreams is going to have to come up with a champion that counters Vladimir and Lissandra, and those two are basically complete opposites. He's going to go with the Hui, but I would assume one of those champions at least would have a good time into it. But honestly, given the two options, I think that is a pretty good pick into both of them. I do want to cut back over there because LSD Dreams is not our featured player for PT. It is going to be Dave, and as we were talking about, they did pick him early to try and get a priority champion for him. And as we can see here, most of his high played champions are ADC. It's if you somehow are living under a rock all season, he just made the swap to top lane from AD carry. So he's been playing a lot of AD carries top as part of that process. 150 games, 53% win rate. And that's including a couple unsuccessful team format seasons, I will say. Key player for Snarkify is Vetus, and he gets his most played champion in the server with Yunara here. It's been really hard for teams to know what to do there. I feel like PT has been one of those teams that's been prioritizing blue side for Yunara, chose to just give it up this game. I think they're trusting the Caitlyn counter into it, and we'll have to see how that plays out. But what I really want to point out is the key matchup here is going to be Sandy versus LSD Dreams. It's only been played 5 times. Sandy's gotten the better of it with 3-2, considering Project Tuesdays won 2-1 in their win and got 2-0'd in the previous one. But the KDA is in LSD Dreams' favor. And honestly, his stats are looking a little bit better in the overall category. I think Sandy struggled a little more in the signups. But what are you expecting to see, especially now that we kind of know the matchup? I don't actually think we know which one's the mid laner yet. Kind of expect it to be Lissandra.
I mean, I think we've all seen Hui play. I mean, kind of champion that's not really going to do anything too crazy, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think you're really going to have kill pressure on either of those champions, whether it was Vladimir or Lissandra. It's kind of a pick where he's going to, get a lot of wave clear done, get a lot of farming done. Should be able to secure lane priority, which can be nice when you assume that, Caitlyn should also have lane priority. So you may have a lot of prio on the bot side of the map, which could give Spiral the ability to, potentially get aggressive. You knew that Lee Sin was going to come through, so, he picked this Xin Zhao with that in mind, I'm sure. So we may see some, ability for Spiral to potentially, get active on the map. I do like the Karma pairing with the Caitlyn, I'll say that. I think it's good into the Renata. And it should have a lot of lane prio. So I think this early game the early game should be good. And to me, if you're looking at, so what does, SR have on that side? Obviously you have Lee Sin, one of the ultimate early game champions, always has been. And to me, I'm looking at him to just go where the Lissandra is, in the sense that that's great gank setup for him. And if it is that Lissandra top lane, then I think you just spam gank the Vayne with the Lee Sin Lissandra and maybe try to put Dave far behind, assuming that, you may be getting pushed on the other side of the map. But I think they're going to have options on here on where they want to attack the map, and I'll be curious to see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, looking here, Lee Sin historically has done pretty well into the Xin Zhao. It's not super surprising for me. We did see earlier that Xin Zhao was the featured champion for Hero, so really good denial from PT, making sure he doesn't get access to that champion all series. I think that is a good utilization of the red side. I think they also were definitely predicting that the Inara was going to come through, pick the Caitlyn into it, which, looking at the matchup spread here historically in Scrim Zone, it's a 7-4 matchup in favor of Caitlyn. Much better KDA as well, so we'll see if that pans out this time. Across the board, everything else is pretty even. The 20 KDA on Hui over 2 games into Vladimir is really, really funny. That's making me crack up. But the player matchups are definitely something to look at, because I believe Blind Spiral was not the wait, how does this even happen? Oh, Hero wasn't playing into PT during
Mason played previously,
right.
One series.
Yes. And Fatal, I guess, has played against Lelouch in a sign up in addition, like a 1 game off sign up in addition to the series, so that's accounting for this. But otherwise, across the board, it's 2-3. These are all a lot of very new players to the server, so we're not seeing a lot of matchup stats here. But the past performance is what I was really looking forward. Kage's actually played Lissandra 3 times. I did not know Ball. I did not know that. Dave's 4-1 on the Vayne. I don't know if all of these are in the top lane per se. LSD Dream's not very successful on the Hui in comparison to Sandy's Vladimir. And Vetus is not 7-2 paired with Lelouch's 9-2 Renata Glask. I really think all the Baker base takes we get about how enchanters are overlooked and all of that, I think Lelouch's Renata is one of the best enchanter player champions that we get to see. And that's always the one that I bring up when people talk about that, because that has accumulated a few MVPs over the course of the season, and this bot lane is going to be terrifying to play into for Project Tuesdays. They're on some comfort with Caitlyn and Karma, but this bot lane from SR, you're getting both of the big guns out right away, and I think if they don't end up winning really hard through bot, this is going to be a huge loss for Snarkify, even bigger than it could have been if they had picked another champion that wasn't as comfortable for them. But obviously you're going to pick these away so they don't get denied. I don't think we've seen Fatal Renata Glask, but Yug almost definitely would grab the Unar if it went over to his side.
Yeah, I think everything you said is true there. We talked about how we think it could make sense to allow Heroes Lee Sin to come through, but there's always the risk when you do let someone's, like, kind of, not one trick's not the right word, but, their signature champ fall through. Sometimes these players just have the ability to take over a game on their own. And I do think you have such nice scaling with the Unara, with the Vladimir, that if Hero is able to just dominate this early game and bridge that gap and allow Sandy and Vetus to come online, there's an angle here where I think this game could be pretty rough for PT. So I'm really looking at Blind Spiral to step up. I mean, you've thrown down the gauntlet. You've given Hero his best champ. I mean, Hero got the better of him in the previous series when they got 2-0'd, and Blind Spiral has been playing so well in PT's wins that I'm really looking at jungle here for him to step up.
Yeah, and Xin Zhao isn't necessarily a champion he's been performing super great on. Obviously, he did get the 1 win on it, but 2 losses on the champion overall and a less than 2 KDA. I think he's going to need to be a little careful. I don't know what the overall stats are. Obviously, we're just looking at the Scrim Zone pool here. But if Lee Sin is really just overall a counter to Xin Zhao, I think this could have been a slight drafting mistake on the side of PT. You know that he's going to be looking for the Lee Sin. Maybe not
I think it's more of an even matchup.
We talked about it, but I don't know. You just have to keep it in mind. You definitely don't want to give over a really good matchup for their most comfortable champion. Usually, if you're going to do that, you need to kind of bait it out with some picks that counter it or are even into it. The problem is if you're spending the entire draft limiting yourself to only, like the entire series, only drafting champions that are strong into Lee Sin, it will definitely limit you elsewhere. So I don't necessarily hate this, but...
Well, hold on, Dean. We didn't mention this. They have Sandy going top lane on the Vladimir. Kage's playing mid lane.
Did not notice that.
Whoa, so this is a full role swap for SR, which I don't think they've done this season. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've done this. But I mean, Kage's no stranger to role swaps. He role swapped quite a bit last season, including 2 mid.
Yeah, that I completely had missed that. I got invited to the lobby pretty late. I wonder if this is going to be just specific matchup tech into the Vayne, or if this is something that we'll see come out the entire series. Dave's really been turning it up, so it's something to watch out for, but
I think
you don't want to mess with a good thing, and that's been Sandy in the mid lane.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, Sandy in the mid lane has been so good, and I think you're giving LSD Dreams an easier time here, but Dave's Vayne has been dominant, and frankly, Kage's strategy top has been to drop farm and be useful. That's not a great strategy against a champion like Vayne, that if it just gets to free farm through the early game could be very threatening. So I'm very curious to see how this actually turns out, but I kind of see the idea in their minds at least to put Sandy top.
Yeah, and I mean, Dave's trading really well onto Sandy, at least to start off this game. There's no phase rush for the Vladimir. The patch where it got removed hasn't come through yet, I don't think, right? But maybe
I don't think so.
But
I'm not 100% sure, but
that rune is either way geared more for trading into the Vayne. So you want to make sure that you don't give her the 3-hit passive to get the silver bolts to come through. Trades like that, though, are completely fine, where you just get condemned away and don't really lose anything. Spiral just going for a quick 3 camp, buys a longsword, and he's now heading towards bot side. And Hero's continuing to clear down towards bot. And if they're able to get a kill onto the Caitlyn and Karma and put them behind early in the game, that's going to completely open things up. But they have a ward in the Tri-Brush that's going to be able to spot that, and it's Lee Sin, so he's not going to go sweeper, so he's not going to be able to do anything about that ward. They are missing ping onto Spiral, so I think they have some good jungle tracking that they know that he's doing those camps now, and I think they're probably just going to look to avoid any skirmishes bot, because that should be pretty winning for PT at this point.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that's interesting, though, I'm not sure if Dave knew that this swap had come in, if they asked, but, he took Cleanse. I'm not sure, would he have taken Cleanse if he thought it was Vlad top? I don't know, but...
Yeah,
sure, I think
it's still going to be useful overall, because it's still going to have value to cleanse the Lissandra stun, and that is going to be the main form of CC for the Vayne. I do wonder what the communication there was, because I wasn't in lobby. Looks like Hero's just going to be able to take the Scuttle Crab. He takes it, and he's going to walk in. He's looking to deny this Gromp as well. He is going to get...
He doesn't have Smite, though. He doesn't have Smite. Not yet. Just come back up. But should be able to get a double crab here.
Yeah, or a play on LSD Dreams. I think Dreams is going to get rooted here, and Hero just going in, holds the Q, and gets so much damage, but it's not going to be enough. Forces the flash out of LSD Dreams, though, at 3.5 minutes, and that's going to be so valuable for this early game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The Lee Sin can just go to wherever the Lissandra is, has such great gank setup. I mean, if you hit the Lee Sin Q, that's really all you need to have a successful gank, as you saw, and if Kage's going to find that root, it's guaranteed. So really well played. Can they punish it? I assume they will, but now looking top for Dave. Hits it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really hard. There's no follow-up from Sandy here. He's just showing him he can hit Qs. But now Spiral's in the area, and Hero could be in big trouble. He gets condemned into the wall, and he might have to flash in order to not die here. But Spiral's going to pick up first blood. Sandy going in. This Ignite is cleansed, so we're seeing some value here. And I think Sandy's probably just going to die too. Dave taking a lot of damage. The pool is going to come through, and they're going to be able to pick up 2 here. Although Sandy did flash over the wall, so he's going to be able to live. Intense trading coming out bot, but nothing compared to what we saw top lane. And Hero just kind of flexing, hitting the Q going in, but there was no reason to do that. And Spiral did catch up to him, didn't have to waste the time on the crab. So
yeah, I mean, Spiral, yeah, he gave the crabs, but he took a base, got a long sword, ran top, read that counter gank nicely, and Dave just set it up perfectly with the condemn.
Yeah, Hero was stuck in a really tough spot there. I think he almost needed to just flash over the wall immediately instead of trying to get the dash to Sandy. That's really what it looked like he was setting up for, a W to some allies. And LSD Dreams is really plowing into Kage. So much damage down here. I think part of the mindset here, I think you're able to wait to just commit to the role swap until after you see what the mid laner picked is. And I think you just realize that the Hui is not really going to be punishable by either person. So maybe it's fine to just stick Kage there and have Sandy play more aggressively and look for the punish there. I don't really know. Definitely something to ask about. If SR ends up winning, we get to interview him. But Sandy just getting really chunked here. In exchange for the turret plate. This dragon setup could be interesting. It looks like Spiral's just going to start it. Lee Sin is definitely on vision, but Hero's just walking mid towards LSD Dreams. Kage flashing forward, is able to get the stun. Should have a route to follow up, and yeah, they're just going to be able to execute the mid laner. No flash available to him, and Kage burning his flash to ensure that he can land both forms of CC. And Sandy, good positioning there, making sure the condemn doesn't stick him to the wall. I think Dave could have had a kill angle there if it had, but they're using this early Caitlyn Karma Prio to ensure they get the first dragon, which is definitely going to more than make up for their, I guess, not even gold deficit anymore.
And it was a nice play by Kage to flash on him, but I mean, you see that ward that's, at the entrance of the river. I'm not sure if he just missed seeing Lee Sin on that ward. He was hovering towards the side his jungler was on, but that was also the side Lee Sin was on. And yeah, just a nice punish even in the kill score. But they do get drag.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he assumed that Hero was going to contest the dragon. I don't believe the control ward right there was present at the time. So I think he would have seen that Lee Sin was in the area and assumed that he was contesting the dragon instead of coming mid, is my only guess there.
Well, if that's the case, then it's a nice play by Hero to recognize, hey, maybe I don't contest dragon here, but you're hovering in a dangerous spot. I'm gonna take the kill. So that is nice. Lee Sin getting that kill is big. Both junglers have the kill for their team. I'm curious to see what kind of action we'll get around Grubs. Would you mind turning the objective timers on for us?
Shoot, yeah. I was just thrown off by how quickly we got into anything. There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem. So we have Grubs coming up in a minute.
But they are looking for a play top, although Sandy just ate 2 tower shots. So this is likely going to go poorly again. Spiral is in the area, and they are just going to start it out. Really good dash for positioning. And now Hero's going to go in, kicks him out of tower range, and is able to follow up. But now Spiral's going to look to play this 1v2. Sandy does not have pool anymore, so I think it is going to trade 1-for-1. Hero's going to try to fight this out. Huge damage coming from the Lee Sin. Definitely a better position than the Xin Zhao, but he can't continue fighting too much because he is going to go into tower range. But now Spiral looking to return, and LSD Dreams is in the area, and he's going to pick up the assist, and this is going to be 3 kills to blind Spiral. Really strong start to the game for him, and he was a player that we were looking at his performance in this series, and I really think he's starting off quite well.
I absolutely love how blind Spiral played that. He did not get distracted on what he needed to do there once. He correctly focused down the Vladimir first, backed it off into the turret, and then showed back up for the kill. Nice roam by LSD. And Lucian's ultimate does get a flash and a cleanse.
Yeah, Yug walked back into it and then cleansed it once he realized he'd done that. I don't think that was a misinput, but really quick cleanse, so he's not super duper punished for it, and he should be able to get that back up. But minor misplay, and the Caitlyn lane is up in CS, although Snark's going to make up for it in gold with the Cull purchase if he doesn't get punished for it.
I mean, yeah, he's a little bit behind in CS, but I mean, it's very close to even. I think you're pretty happy right now if you're the bot lane of SR.
Yeah, but we didn't really
kills. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it much, but PT is going to need to get a huge advantage early if they want to make this comp worth it. Their only real scaling upsides are like the Vayne and the Hui, but I think compositionally the Vayne's really countered. Yunara and Vladimir are going to have so much damage output into this late game. I think scaling's really favoring SR, so they obviously are doing well to have an advantage now, but This grub take, I think, is not insignificant, and I think we're going to need to see some continued dragon stacking from PT in order to have a real strong foothold in this game. If they end up being even at 25, I think this is a losing scenario for them. Caitlyn not having a kill yet is kind of brutal. You really want that to happen at some point. But now Hero getting spotted out on the Raptors. I don't think there's going to be a collapse there. The Lysandra in the area is really good at dissuading this. And unfortunately for LSD Dreams that he didn't get that kill with the QW in top lane. I think he needs a gold influx to really start punishing this Lysandra out of lane.
Yeah, they were able to get the grubs, which was a nice answer for them. But junglers maybe meeting bot, but no, it looks like PT's all just going to kind of reset here as this dragon is coming up in a minute.
Especially with no ultimate from Lelouch, but there is fighting coming out top. Sandy falling down super low. If he's able to walk up and get the empowered heal, I think he's going to be in a good position, which he does, so he's not super far behind on HP, but he does need to be careful. A Condemn into the wall guarantees his death at this point.
I think
and Dave
Vayne needs to be careful, though. Vayne needs to be careful. Sandy has Flash, has Ignite, and has R. There's definitely a kill angle here on the Dave.
So he wasn't sitting on it. He did just become available. This is a Caitlyn ult. It's going to stop Snark's base, and I think he's actually going to now walk out. Fatal gets the advantage to go in, and there we go. There goes the Flash ultimate burn from Sandy, forces the Flash out of Dave. I was panning bot and we did miss it, but he found his window. I think if Dave hadn't flashed immediately, the Ignite could have been thrown, and Sandy's all the way back up to full health off of that play.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sandy survived the hard part of this matchup, and now it gets pretty easy for him into the Vayne.
The Roa has been purchased for Lysandra. They're making sure Kage can just play the same style that he's used to with those tanky champions in the top lane, in the mid lane. They could be looking for a play mid. LSD Dreams just completely blows his E, and you're going to need that for whatever exchange happens next. And he's going to flash over the wall, has already committed the Ghost, and now it is a 4-for-4 rotation. But Wei has no summoner spells for this fight, takes the Blast Cone to get in, and now the Ghost is fully expired. He's actually doing a good job, gets a lot of poke onto Lelouch, put that little Warden Eye thing up. It's his EW, I think. I don't actually know what it's called. But SR is the one starting up this dragon. LSD Dreams is looking for this, and Blind Spiral is kind of up at the top, but here just gets completely bursted, and Spiral is looking to find the kill. Kick is going to save him temporarily, but they go in, make sure to find the kill into Blind Spiral, and the bailout is here for Hero. They're not going to be able to save him. Fatal falling down super low, but they're not going to be able to find a kill, and this is a 3-for-1 advantage to PT, and they're tearing this game open. Both top laners left completely excluded from this, and PT is finding that early game advantage that they needed here. They're going to be able to secure the dragon, and they're up a 3-kill differential, which is about 1,000 gold at this point in the game.
Yeah, I will say that before the fight started, that was pretty poor by LSD Dreams. Got chunked out, lost his summoners, but he did a nice job surviving, repositioned, and that poke he got onto Hero over the wall just made the difference to me there. I mean, that was just a massive way for them to start the fight. Blind Spiral had a good flank, got kicked away, but even still it was enough, and I mean, they ran through there.
Oh, and Sandy's in big trouble here. He was able to pull the Condemn, so he might be able to find the kill onto Dave, but the cleanse on the Ignite is going to keep him alive, and that's another kill going on to Blind Spiral. He's 4-1-2, and LSD Dreams is so in this game right now. He's 2-1-2. Looks like Kage was the only one to get a kill from that skirmish. You probably want one to go onto the Unara. They're not able to find it, and I really like PT's position in this game right now. If they're able to continue the pace across the map and keep pushing things, they're in a really solid position. But Dave is falling pretty far behind here, not able to get that kill top. Means that I don't really think he's back in the game at all. He's outpaced by about 30 CS, and on a champ like Vladimir, I think he's going to do a lot of damage with that gold. But the fact that he's died twice has put him behind a decent amount. Neither ADC having died, it means that they're going to have a lot of gold, and especially with how much gold that role gets in this season, they're going to get pretty accelerated. And the triple tonic is going to complete for Caitlyn here as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what build Dave will ultimately go for here. It looks like he's trying to build some items that do give him health to try to not be quite as one-shottable. Be curious to see how this side lane matchup evolves as the game continues to go on. They're hunting LSD Dreams again, but is able to walk away this time.
Yeah, I think they knew that Spiral was in the area. They didn't have vision on it, but the way he's walking, they knew that they weren't supposed to chase. Quest ad did just come through for Snark here. This game's definitely going to slow down a little bit. I think PT has the lead that they need. I don't think they necessarily need to force their advantage too much. And if they do, they do have summoners available for Spiral. And Sandy in big trouble here.
Whoa.
Don't know if he's going to be able to get this. He hits the ultimate, has the pool available. If he comes out of this, he should have the empowered Q right away, and he's going to be able to get it with the ultimate, I think. Storm Surge able to lock that down, and there comes the solo kill that we were waiting for in the top lane. Snark dashing forward, getting a lot of damage down. Fatal and Yugger just trying to kite this out, but Hero with a huge follow, and the cleanse comes out before the Berserk connects from Lelouch. And Yug, I don't even know what he cleansed there. Maybe the slow from the Lee Sin. But LSD Dreams might find a kill in return. Kage is going to need to ult himself here in order to survive. And he does time it correctly, but I think LSD Dreams still should be able to find a kill. The E looks like it's going to save him. And they're coming back a little bit. SR finding 2 kills across the map right now. And that almost evens up the gold.
Yeah, really great plays in both side lanes there. You get both summoners out of Yug, including and the kill, and you get Fatal's flash. It's pretty devastating for this Caitlyn Karma. And on the top side, I mean, Dave went in for the aggressive solo kill, but I think you're kind of seeing at this point the matchup's kind of swung. Like, Sandy is just gone for this burst build with the Storm Surge first, and it's just able to survive. The blood pool does a lot of work. As long as he's not getting condemned, I don't think Dave's going to have much of a chance to beat him at this point.
Yeah, maybe as a Sandy viewer this season, I was bummed that the alternator didn't build into Proto Belt, but I'm happy with what we got. And we didn't quite see it on stream, but LSD Dreams actually chasing Kage down between his 2 towers and trying to force him out of him, force him to walk back to base. Really aggressive play, and you always love to see something like that. Spiral's trying to contest this Rift Herald. I don't think it's really contestable. They committed all 5 members up towards it. LSD Dreams is getting plates on the bot side, and they have made the rotation to put their bot lane towards the mid. And this is the teleport coming out from Kage. He could be looking to punish this, but he's just going to immediately get rooted up by LSD Dreams and takes a lot of damage. And I don't know how long he bought for this tower. LSD Dreams definitely outplaying like we'd hope he would into an off-roll player. The tower doesn't quite fall for Sandy. Now it does, and he's able to start this fight off. The ultimate comes through, and he does have his flash at the same time, or he flashes forward and he just picks up another solo kill. And I think Sandy's really showing his mastery of this Vladimir champion. It's very good in the mid lane and pretty good top too, and I don't think this role swap's going to hurt him when it's a champion that he's able to play in both roles. I do wonder if it's something we'll see continued throughout the series, though.
We may see it throughout the series, but I really think, I'm assuming it's just a really intelligent way to counter this blind pick Vayne, excuse me. We talked about how Dave had been holding his pick to second phase. They chose to just take the Vayne before he got banned in second phase. And I mean, I don't know if Kage's really shown a champion that counters it super well. So to then just give Sandy this instead, I really like that decision by them, and it's paying huge dividends right now.
Yeah, this Herald coming through, I don't actually know if it's going to connect. Lee Sin now channeling to get into it. They tried to trap it, but they're only getting some damage down on the tower, and it is just going to fall. Not a lot of value, but it gives them some tempo before the dragon. I think normally you're supposed to start the dragon while the Herald's alive, but hey, I don't care. They're trying, and I really don't think this is contestable from PT. They kind of back up. It's, again, one of the situations where 5 people are committed from SR, and it's really hard for PT to force the fight when they only have 4 available.
It's the problem, though, really, Dean. I mean, you mentioned it. I don't think the PT comp, they don't need to be at a stage 17 minutes in where you're not able to contest a drag. Like, it's only a 1K gold lead now, but I think it's already getting a little concerning if you're a PT fan here. I don't know if the fights are going to get easier.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about 25. You want to not be even, and LSD Dreams just only gets popped there. He has to burn the ghost. Or maybe not has to, but elects to burn the ghost. Sandy trying to go in, and he's getting actually decently traded back on, and he's going to look for the dive. Ultimate is actually missed, and I think Sandy's just going to get killed here. I think way over forcing that.
LSD Dreams actually predicted the ult, flashed away. Sandy still used it, didn't get tagged by it, and really just outplayed Sandy, who's been playing a really clean game.
Kage does not win this 1v1, so they try to exchange, and both of them are forcing it, and it does not go well for either of them. Spiral should be able to just pick up some kills here. Snark dashing out, though, gets so much damage put down. I think he is actually going to end up living, but I mean, PT
I forget what I was saying, Dean. If you completely stop what was working, then
but Hero has a huge flank here. If he gets a kick onto Yug, it could be brutal. He kicks him into tower. He knocks up Spiral too, and they're not able to find the handshake from Renata, and that completely fizzles the play. Hero's looking to follow up, but the Karma Shield's able to help Yug dodge. They're only barely ahead though, and I still think you need something more sizable than this, but they're no longer at a deficit, which is definitely what you want to see as a PT fan.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, if you're able to like really scale the Caitlyn, yes, everyone scales, but I mean, if Caitlyn gets enough items, she's gonna have a pretty nice range advantage this game. Because you can get to a point, I think, where if Vladimir doesn't have flash, he's not going to be able to reliably threaten the Caitlyn. So then if Yug's positioning very effectively, I think, you know, if like a full build or almost full build Caitlyn could start doing a lot of work for you.
Yeah, because Vlad's not going to have Ghost. The Protobelt's going to help him a little bit. We did get to see that come out from Sandy, but it's not going to help you enough to completely gap close. If only Spellbinder.
You also don't have anyone that's really like a tank. I mean, Hero's probably going to build some armor at some point, but you're not really going to have anyone that can just tank, you know, headshot crits as you do get later into the game. So I think, you know, unfortunately, no kills have been given over to Caitlyn yet, but, you know, is farming well and is, you know, still scaling well. So you have that and did just complete IE.
And Kage missing some CS here. LSD doing a really good job of zoning him off. And yeah, he actually basically just misses that entire wave. Really intelligent Serpent's Fang purchase from the Lee Sin. It's tough to actually find champions that can build it into Karma, but here's a good spot for it. It is going to delay his tankiness, though, as you were talking about. But it's going to give him an increased ability to kind of burst people down. And I think at this point, because obviously Caitlyn's never really going to build defense. So if you're able to take her out, and Hui's only ever going to get a little bit of health. So if you're able to take out those targets pretty quickly, it should help. I think Zonia's in Hui's future, though, is really going to lower the efficiency of the Lee Sin in this draft. And now he is spotted out in this control ward, and that shows Blind Spiral that he's able to go in or at least zone out Lee Sin from entering this fight. This tower's really low, and Yug only needs to auto it a couple times for it to fall down. And they're looking to sync up a dive on it as Lee Sin's taking the crab and heading towards bot. I don't know what the play is going to be out here, but Spiral has vision secured, so does Fatal. They've both dropped control wards, but now Sandy going in for some damage onto Dave. The Caitlyn ult comes through, but Fatal in such a bad spot, he has to flash out in order to live, and Spiral could be in a tough spot too. Snark going forward, Kage trying to go in, and Hero finds the chase onto the Caitlyn, forces her flash out, but now he's rooted up. He might be the first one to die. The bailout is on him, and he's not going to need it. Or I think he did get it. Anyway, Spiral is going to be the one to fall there. They really overforced that play. They were able to control the vision, but they took so long that I think SR was able to suspect it, and they rotate Kage up to this fight. However, Sandy getting a little outplayed on this top side, but now he goes in, flashes forward, is not able to find it with the E, and the Ignite is going to secure this as a kill for both of them. So 1 for 1, not the best, but Dave's really happy with that. I think he outplayed really well. The only reason he died was because of the lead already on Sandy, but now their KDAs are looking pretty similar.
Yeah. And Dave, you know, looks like he's going for Essence Reaver second here. And, you know, Vayne is a champion that you get items, it can get scary.
Yeah, I mean, same with Vladimir, who's building towards his death cap already. I don't think they got local gold for that turret, which is a bit unfortunate for them, but now they have a really good setup for this dragon, and I think if PT can get to the 3rd dragon, that puts them in a really good game, kind of puts the onus on SR to start fights and force things, which is never the position you really want to be in. SR is teleporting the Vladimir in.
But Vladimir has no flash, has no ultimate here.
Where they have a 5 versus 4 advantage, but now Vayne's choosing to TP in as well. So they're going to clear this out. Kage is the one on the flank, and he's been so good with those all season. Sandy getting chunked out to start this fight. He's dropped down to about half HP. The shields are helping him from Renata. Kage going in, has to Zonia's, or I think he ulted himself, but he's able to find the damage on LSD Dreams. It's not going to be able to kill him, but Dragon is going over to the Lee Sin, Spiral dashing in, trying to find a play, and they're trying to kite him out. Snark staying alive, getting a lot of damage on this fight, and I think Spiral is going to die. Snark finding a kill, and Sandy just healed from half all the way up to full. Snark flashing forward, able to find a kill. That's going to be a 3rd one, and he's looking for a Quadra, but he has to dash out because the Caitlyn has too much range.
They're also low. 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 They
Oh, that's the Snark show. Lelouch going to body block for that. Make sure that he is going to live. But Snark played that fight incredibly. Everyone on that team did a good job. Kage, I think, bit off a little more than he could chew at that point at the start of the fight. But I think it was a good engage nonetheless. And Spiral just overestimating how long he'd be able to survive into that. Because they have no true tank, it means they have 5 people who are able to put down a decent amount of damage. So they are going to chew through him pretty quickly.
Yeah, I thought Snark played that really well. I mean, that fight was so close to actually just being an insane victory for PT. I mean, all 4 members that survived on SR's side got so incredibly low, but it's not the case, and now they've blown this game open. I mean, it's a 3K gold lead, and you just got so much gold onto you. Nara has 3 completed items now.
Yeah, and Flash is available for LSD Dreams and Blind Spiral and Lelouch. Everyone else either didn't have it for that fight or had to use it in that fight, so that's going to be something to look for. Oh, Kage missing another minion. He's not had the best time farming here, but honestly, if you look how the swap went, I think he's pretty much even in CS with Dave, and Sandy is outplaying LSD Dreams so far this game, in my opinion. Not in terms of the KDA, but just the amount of pressure he's been able to exert across the map has been really huge.
Oh yeah, and Sandy in that last team fight was really big. Yeah. Yeah, and Sandy last team fight didn't even have death cap yet. As soon as he gets, which he may be backing to buy right now.
Yeah, and in that case, they're going to need to hold off. I think that's probably why they didn't go for the Nash. It definitely looked like they were considering it. I'm assuming the call was to back off. Kage, with some forward positioning, was able to spot out Blind Spiral, attempting to enter the fight. And so they did just back out. But now it's a 4-1 for PT, and they're basing the Vayne, trying to get her to regroup with the team. Blind Spiral's back down into the jungle looking for a flank play, but he's going to run into Sandy before he runs into anyone else, and that's not who you want to stumble upon in the jungle. And now huge flank coming from both Snark and Hero. They're not able to tag anybody, so they're just going to let it fizzle. The Karma and Hui both giving a lot of move speed to allow them to get out of that situation, which I think is going to continue to be a trend throughout the game. I think it's going to give them a lot of opportunities to get out of situations where they might not necessarily want to be. The problem is if they blow them and they still get caught, there goes a lot of your utility. And Snark getting the 3 kills is going to increase the delta of the gold that he has in comparison to Caitlyn. He's actually up about 1,500 at this point, so not a huge amount. The biggest gold lead is in top lane, which is not very surprising. Sandy is going to be an absolute demon whatever fight he enters next. He doesn't quite have the stacks for the Medjais, but having the death cap and the 2 kind of bursty items is really going to help him. I think he's going to be building towards a scaling pen item at some point, or like a percent pen, which is going to help him out. I think the Crypt Bloom's probably better than the Void Staff here, because I think you need a little less pen, and the other benefits are going to be great for you in this game. But neither team having a true tank means the builds are going to get a lot more aggressive this game, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, and critically, Sandy didn't even have Flash for that last fight. You know, Vladimir's just one of those champions where having Flash available just really levels up your capability to carry a team fight. Didn't have it last time, will have it this time. I mean, next team fight, all eyes need to be on Sandy, because he's at the kind of the critical mass point of Vladimir, where you can just 1v5 almost if you find the right angle and get the right damage down.
They were considering rotating up on Vayne there, got spotted out on too much vision, and now they are just going to start this Nash. I don't think it's super telegraphed. They were able to clear the normal vision, and it looked like they were making it play top. Yeah. But yeah, Xin and Play are both bot. I think maybe they're calling for Spiral to rotate up, but I don't think this Dragon or the Baron's going to survive for long enough. It's down to half already, and they're not going to be able to gap close, and this is just a little sneaky, cheeky Baron, I think.
Yeah.
Fatal's in the area, drops a control ward, but that's all they're going to get on it. They just need to make sure that they run away instead of into him, but Blind Spiral flashing forward is able to collapse onto 3 of them, gets kicked away immediately though, and Dave dropping down low, but Hero engages on him, didn't realize he was going to flash away, and gets taken a little too far into the team, but Blind Spiral going in, finds a knockup onto Snark, and Snark now dealing damage, and Hero is able to pick up the kill. He is going to get bailed out. I don't think they're going to find a kill to be able to revive him, but actually Hui was able to take out both of the bot laners, and now Kage is taken down. It's a 4-for-1, so only 1 Nash available, and it's on Sandy who's pushing the bot lane. Still advantage to SR, but a lot less of one at this point.
That's one of the most aggressive Hui plays I have ever seen someone do in this server. The way he just flashed in and found the combo onto the bot lane and killed them both. I mean, that was huge. And yet, they do get the Baron, and Sandy still has it, but I mean, that's
Sandy
massive.
flashing forward. He's going to kill Fatal, I think. And I don't know if he's going to be able to kill Yug too, but he has the empowered Q, and he's almost going to delete him, but he is just going to get taken out. And that is an ace in exchange for 2. Baron completely stripped, and they're going to get a dragon for it.
That's not worth Sandy's flash.
No, it is not.
Wow.
Yeah, SR hesitated just the slightest bit to get out of that play. They thought that maybe they could fight, weren't accounting for the fact that Sandy was not in the area. Blind Spiral immediately pulls the trigger with the flash W in, is able to connect, get on top of all of them, and that's what made that fight happen for PT. He knew that he needed to do it, SR, with a moment of hesitation, and that's all it really took to cost them 4 of those deaths.
Well, I think they were out, Dean. I think they were out after a nice pick away, but then Hero chose to go back in.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely pressed the Q before Dave flashed, so I think he thought he was just going to kill him and not get sucked into the entire team, but they definitely should have just let him die. But LSD Dream's really good punish to follow up on it. But I mean, they're not even in that fight if Spiral doesn't find that engage.
Very true. But again, that way play was massive. I wish we had a replay of that one. That was so much damage.
Yeah, well, Snark dashing in, trying to find this play, but he gets bursted down by the Karma, flashes forward, and he is going to get bailout on him, but they hold it for so long. They actually wait too long to use it, and he is going to fall in exchange for a 1-for-1 there. But there are 3 people running at Lelouch. She's going to need to make sure she can live here.
Okay, both ADCs used flash there, though. Over kind of just some scrapping in mid lane. And Caitlyn's 4 items now. I mean, Caitlyn's actually up on Vetus as items go now.
Yeah, and up in gold. He has a bit cheaper items, which I think matters a little bit. Is going to be building towards that Bloodthirster as the 5th item.
That Bloodthirster will be massive, in my opinion.
10 here.
Especially
really looking for a play on a Spiral. There's not anyone super close to him, actually, and if Lelouch is able to get here, it's big. If Hero can flick him around, he's going to look to just continue this, actually. Goes in, and the kick will be enough to kill him. He's trying to hold it. Oh, he doesn't have the range to kick it. He's going to use it onto the Vayne, but he can't follow up with the Q. And now I think Sandy's just out-rotating here, but Kage looking for the ultimate onto the Vayne, and they are going to find it, so I think it's going to be a kill onto Vayne, and I think they're going to get the 1 kill that they wanted here. But this is a less valuable target for sure, and Sandy really regretting not having the flash here. Almost just dies straight up. Yug gets chunked for about half from just the ultimate. And yeah, I think Sandy's stuck in a bad spot here, but Snark trying to free hit, and he's able to find the kill onto Spiral for his team. Goes over to Sandy, and they're able to find a double kill for the Vladimir. And this fight was just so weird. Both teams
that was a
very
really weird
anxious,
fight.
you can tell.
Yeah, I think nerves are getting to people. I mean, I guess they thought Sandy was caught. He was split from the team, but he bought enough time for the blood pool to be available, and you're not picking the Vladimir with that up, and a nice punish back, and it's back and forth right now, but I do still think if fights are taken cleanly, it's favoring the SR comp at this point. For sure, especially with their 4K lead at 30. You've scaled so much. Once the Vladimir flash is back up, they're in such a favorable position, but they're not going to be able the ones to get to choose the terms of the next fights, because Baron and Dragon are spawning at basically the same time for all that it's worth, and you're giving up Ocean Soul if you let PT have the Dragon uncontested. Really good job on them to get the 2 early Dragons and to get that one off the back of the Baron. You'd think that maybe the fight doesn't have a lot of lasting impact because they just trade that 3 kills over, but the lasting impact of that fight is getting yourself to Soul Point. That's going to be something that SR has to deal with until a team gets Elder, or I mean until a team gets Soul and you're just dealing with Elders. But I mean, Elder's still a lasting effect of that play, so SR is going to have to contest every Dragon for the rest of the game, and you've bought yourself a huge strategic advantage with that Baron play just because of that. Kage actually going to get caught out by 3 people here. He's going to be able to get back to his team, but he's getting chunked out like crazy. Luckily for SR, there's nothing really happening for the next minute. Yeah, he'll have plenty of time to heal up.
Yeah, Sandy's pushed up a little bit here. It seems like if he's playing the long game, he's just going to chill here for a minute and play for the flank, but he's actually going to base. He could upgrade to a Magi's here. I don't know if that's going to be the move. Yeah, he chooses to spend... Oh, no, he bought
an Elixir, I believe.
Elixir, yeah. That is a Vayne base coming out only 30 seconds before the objectives are up. LSD Dream's looking for a flank. He's going to get a lot of poke down on really critical targets, and that's 2 abilities, half of Sandy's health. Mic drop emote. He knows what he did there.
I love the way LSD Dreams has been playing this game, getting so much damage down on the way. For this next team fight, Kage does have the
back.
hourglass here, so can really buy a lot of time. You do lose some value with the hourglass when you are playing against Caitlyn, obviously, but Lissandra could really buy a lot of time in these team fights.
And LSD Dreams just defensive eyeball on himself, making sure that no one can push into him. And they've set this up really well. This is so hard for SR to attack. However, they've found a really aggressive angle, and the deep angle from PT's own side doesn't have any Caitlyn traps on it, but immediate stun onto the Vladimir. They almost pick him off immediately. Sandy going to go in. He drops the ultimate onto the back line, but gets taken down immediately by LSD Dreams, and I think they're going to find the fight and find the dragon off the back of this. Hero is taking down, and this is a double kill for Hui, and I think they're just going to find Soul. Snark and Lelouch not going to be able to fight here.
What just happened, Dean? That was insane. Dave on the flank just solo chunked out Sandy a little bit at the start, and then LSD Dreams found some massive damage onto him and a really well-timed hourglass. I was looking at Sandy to take that fight over, and he kind of just got dominated.
Yeah, that initial chunk, I think, really cost him. He isn't going into this fight with full health, and I think they were playing a little careful. They couldn't start as immediately as they wanted to, and it looks like they're going to lose Nash for this, too. They're hoping maybe they can get top tower with the minions, but PT's going to even the gold out after this. Maybe if they're able to get a couple towers, but they're definitely in control of the map here. Hoping to get the wave shoved out mid. Bot lane is the only wave that's shoved in PT's favor, so SR doing a good job of mitigating this, but Ocean Soul's going to last the whole game, and the stats that they're getting from that are just putting them in the
Ocean Soul
position right now.
Ocean Soul and Baron, and I mean, Snark still has flash for this next fight, so does Kage, but the fact that you won that fight so well while getting Sandy's flash on the Vlad just can't be understated. I really think you have an angle here to play super aggressively with this Baron while that flash is down and potentially try to break open the base and see if you can even go further.
Yeah, once Hui completes the decap, though, it's going to be real bad for SR. If that's how much damage he's doing without it, I'd hate to see how much damage he does.
How much gold
is
Caitlyn sitting on? I swear Caitlyn's been on these specific items for a while. Yeah, almost 2K.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to sell the Doran's Blade.
Yeah, at least until she gets the BT. Hero's moving forward here, is able to find the kick into Fatal. That cooldown is significant, but not 5 minutes significant, so I'll have it up for the next fights. Kind of just able to disengage there, but they're going to lose their top tower. That's like 5 cannon minions. That is the problem with pushing it out. You're able to stack a lot of cannons when you do get the wave pushing the other way. Snark getting a lot of damage out of the spiral, but he can't overpush because there are 5 members of PT laying in wait there, and they're just trying to thin out this wave as much as possible. But that's 4 cannons, and they're all Baron buffed up. They're trying to take it out, and actually I think they do manage to do it, but LSD Dreams giving some assist to there, getting some damage down onto the side of SR, and it's going to make it harder for them to fight.
This game is on a knife's edge right now, Dean. It can go any which direction.
That's all you can ask
You do have
for
some big item purchases coming through, though, soon for PT in that Bloodthirster and in that Death Cap.
And Kage is still not even at 3 items. I think that's really costing them this game. He was able to stay even in CS with Dave, but once the map opened up, LSD Dreams has been giving some CS to Dave, it seems like, so both of them are about the same mark, and Kage is just really far behind. It's kind of like they're playing a Lee Sin plus 2 carry plus 2 support comp, which honestly, given that you have Lissandra, isn't that big of a deal, but it looks like we just completely missed a pause there, actually. Must have been short.
I feel like in these later game team fights, the Lee Sin has been a little bit quiet. Maybe we can see an angle where Hero can find something creative, get a nice kick onto someone like LSD Dreams potentially, or even the Caitlyn. But Caitlyn does have that BT now. Deathcap has come through. So many items getting completed. I think Dave just completed some magic resist too with that Maw. Or the Hex Drinker, excuse me. But I will say, teams are being so patient that it does... Oh, okay, he's out. But it does look like the teams are being so patient that there is not going to be another team fight before those critical flashes do come back up. Sandy's flash and Dave's flash are both pretty close, as is LSD Dreams.
Yeah, and honestly, with how this game's been going, I feel like we could see the game end on some random skirmish mid.
It's possible.
Really,
it might be an Elder, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the more likely scenario. I think both teams could weather an Elder at this point still, especially if you're able to trade the Nash for it. But if you lose both objectives, the game's almost definitely just over. The setup for SR is a little better right now, but you're so far out from the objective, I don't think it really matters at this point. They've shoved all the waves out, so they're not really able to farm too much out. So I think whatever items they're going to have right now are going to be what they're going to have.
Yeah, and you called it out before that last dragon fight, Dean. They had done such a nice job getting river control, setting up a trap line, that also contributed to the ability of them able to get so much poke down. I'm really going to look and see, can they do that again for this Elder? And on the other side, Sandy just has to find a better play. Running in a straight line towards them and taking that poke isn't the winning formula. If he can find a flank, it could be massive at this point.
The problem with the traps was they knew where he had to come, because they'd closed off 3 of the main entrances from mid lane, and they knew they were all positioned towards mid lane. So now they have set up before the traps are set up, and Spiral's actually taking a base here. If anyone walks up, they're just going to die. And I think they're going to put Spiral back, and they're going to wait till they rotate. But Snark walking up here for vision, and I think now they know that Spiral's based. LSD Dreams walking up too far. Hero finding a pick on Fatal, forcing his flash immediately in exchange for just a Q, and that could be massive.
I mean, he had to. If he didn't flash that, he's probably going to get kicked, and that's a death.
Yep.
But now, I don't know if you're going to be able to get that river control. And I do like this by SR. They are just kind of stacking waves, but they are just choosing, hey, we're just going to make sure we are in river first no matter what this time, and we'll see how it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, even if they killed minions, they wouldn't be able to buy items with it. So they know that they just need to stay here and get done what they need to. Spiral taking some damage here, but LSD Dreams poke critically missing so far. The Dragon's actually spawning in 20, but I don't think either team's going to really start to hit it. I think SR is going to have to, just to force PT to make a move, and I think maybe the damage they take from Dragon is going to cancel it out. LSD Dreams finding a good angle here, but actually not connecting on anything. Spiral taking some damage from the Vlad and the Lee Sin, but no follow-up from Hero, which I think is the correct move. And they're just posturing here, and now it's a dead even Dragon setup. Neither team has the advantage.
Avoiding all the poke. They're not getting hit by any poke.
The Caitlyn traps are setting up, so they can't actually push past the Dragon, but they don't need to push past the Dragon. All they need to do is just connect on the smite, but now they're just letting it de-aggro, letting it walk back.
Minion wave is crashing top.
They actually rotated Snark towards the mid lane, and they're rotating Spiral to match it. The Dragon is actually just completely back to neutral, but now Spiral just getting collapsed on, taking so much damage, has to flash over the wall, and he's down to half, and he's not going to be able to heal. They have no healing on this team unless he starts hitting with the Ocean Soul, but now Sandy going in takes so much damage onto LSD Dreams, and the ultimate is going to kill him, and that's a shutdown onto Sandy, and I think they're going to pick up the Elder. Kage trying to 1v1 the Vayne, not able to find it. Sandy walking in, the entire team. Blind Spiral could look for a steal. He goes in, and he's just going to be taken down instead, and Lee Sin able to pick it up. Sandy not quite dying, able to find a kill onto Dave, and Yug is now going to fall down on the back of this. Sandy super low, doesn't want to risk it. Hero flashing forward, should be able to find a kill into Fatal, and this is going to be a 5-for-0, and I don't know if they can push down mid and end, but they can at least take this reset, grab the Baron,
I think that's the game,
in a really good position. I'm not sure because of the resets, and I don't know if he does. Okay, he does have teleport, so yeah, that's double TP coming out.
That was the play we were waiting for from Sandy. I mean, he solo killed LSD Dreams in that fight. Massive flash in that time. Critically, I think LSD Dreams had the Zhonya's up and didn't. I don't think he used it. I'm not sure if he thought he wasn't going to die. But either way, just that's what you were looking for out of your Vladimir. Found the massive team fight, and good job by PT to keep this one interesting. But all in all, we're looking at a 2-0 for SR, and they're one game away from the championship.
Yeah, and I think you can look at it from that direction. You could go, oh, SR just needs to win one more game. But I do want to point out, SR played 3 champions that are probably their best champions. I don't even think you can say that for anyone on PT. Yug definitely has better champions than the Caitlyn, and I think the Vayne Blind is not your best champion for sure, even if it's just context dependent. So I think the amount lost in draft for PT is a lot less. So I think they're actually probably slightly more favored for the future games than they were in that one, which I think is good for them. But we'll have to see. Okay, yeah, Spiral did tell me they were in draft last time, but I didn't quite catch it. So no shade on the teams. I just wasn't reading my DMs. But that was definitely, if SR lost that game, I think that would have been a huge deal. If you're able to get both Yunara and the Yunara Renata bot lane has been like perfect for them. This is a comp that's pretty different than what we've seen, especially looking at this. There'd only been one previous LSD Dreams Hui game, so I don't think there was a lot of experience on those champions, but really good denial across the board. Unfortunately, I think Yug's pick isn't really eating into Vitus's pool at all. I think that Ezreal's really scary, the Zeri's really scary, and he's got a lot of other stuff too. I do wonder if we're going to see Sandy return to the mid lane, though. That's the big question for me going into the next game.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well. I I think
PT
we
did elect
may
to
just
go red
because
again.
I do feel like it was a matchup thing, but at the same time, it did just work. Um, but I don't know. We'll see. I would expect Sandy to go back to mid, but maybe not. Either way,
Yeah,
it's going to be
I wouldn't
exciting.
say.
The lane swap was The lane swap was awesome. You really punished the Vayne, which had been so successful for Dave. And I mean, I think Kage kind of the same thing. That's always the thing. He falls behind a little bit, but he's useful. He's not having like a bad death and it's being useful, and it allowed the rest of the team to just really get going. And as we saw that Vlad in the late game, you get those items, you get in those team fights. It's hard for enemy carries to stay alive.
Yeah, when you pull a lane swap like that, though, where you put your best player into, I mean, I normally would say put your best player into the other team's best player and see how it plays out. But I mean, Dave got put really far behind, and honestly, Kage did too. So you're kind of gambiting. Like, you're giving them a strong player in LSD Dreams, kind of uncontested there, and he was able to put a lot of work in that game. You're just kind of gambling that Sandy, when fed, is stronger than LSD Dreams when fed. Obviously, when counters come through, I don't think Sandy's going to be able to do that reliably. So I think they should just keep Sandy in the mid lane unless Dave blind picks again. Then I think it's pretty punishable. Obviously, we saw the Smolder ban in the last game. I think that continues to be a wise ban because the Smolder can be flexed between the bot lane and the top lane. So if it does go through, it's not like it's for Dave or it's for Yug. So that makes it tough to deal with. But I think Sandy ultimately did end up having a bigger impact than LSD Dreams did, but honestly, not by much. I think that last fight, Blind Spiral's positioning was the big deal. I think the rest of his team was all kind of playing together. In a situation like that, you need one of the teams to start the dragon, and then you can look to punish them once the dragon started, but there's no reason to actually start the fight before then. Blind Spiral was fishing for a little bit of a flank, got caught out, lost half his health and his flash, and that's what gave... as soon as that happened, Hero walks into the pit, finds the Q, knows he's going to go in because there's such an advantageous situation in the fight. Before that, they weren't able to find any sort of engage. And I don't really think that falls on the draft. I don't think that falls on LSD Dreams not doing well when he gets a lead, but we are getting into the next draft. And what do you think the adaptation is going to be from PT here? I think SR can just plug and chug.
I assume we'll see pretty similar bans across the board here.
And maybe they give Nocturne. That's the only one.
You could potentially. They have been willing to give Nocturne in the past for their Shen counter pick, but I don't think you want to do that. And yeah, they're going to keep those same bans.
Yeah, what I would do for SR here is you could just pick Shen for Hero. He's been really good on it. You have 2 games to lose actually, and it makes it so that PT is just in an even tougher spot because they wouldn't even have the counter to Nocturne. But if PT is just banning Nocturne every single time, I don't think it even really matters. You're basically getting a free ban out of them. And Aurora's just picked up. This is a champion we've seen ban against S-Star like crazy. And Sandy can definitely play this champion in both lanes.
Yep.
So the flex is still
exactly what I was going to say, Dean. Yeah, exactly. It's a multi-role champion that Sandy has been so good on. We have seen bans get thrown at him. I'm on this pick.
Okay, that's
we'll see what the answers
Spiral
are.
Pantheon for sure. They get some global ultimates in this game. Which is something they were definitely lacking in the last game. They did not have really good rotations, especially because the Vayne TP I don't think is a great TP. We get to see Fatal whip out this signature Nautilus pick for himself, so I'm liking what we're seeing from PT so far here in terms of comfort, which is definitely a change from the last game. I think their thought is we've got some of the big guns away from SR, maybe we can play some of our own big guns this time. Maybe, speaking of big guns, we'll see Senna, but I kind of doubt it, and this is going to be the Corki lock for Vetus.
Yeah, Corki Nami, it's such a strong lane here. I like that. And Ezreal, interesting.
Well, there's the Denial pick we were looking for. I was saying that the Caitlyn didn't really hit it last time. This definitely is. The Ezreal can kind of play out of Corki's range and stay safe. I think Aurora actually has pretty good access onto it, but I think Nautilus has really good access onto the Aurora. It doesn't matter if she goes invisible. She's still going to get knocked up by the Nautilus ultimate. This is a Mordekaiser and Kayle ban towards Dave, so he is getting hit pretty hard, which he was able to avoid in the first game. Malphite and Jarvan taken away from Hero and Kage. I really don't like the Jarvan ban here at all, unless you're going to pick a super immobile champion for LSD Dreams right now, because Ezreal does not give a shit, and honestly, Pantheon and Nautilus don't really either. They're fine. They can just weather the storm inside the Cataclysm. You don't want to pick Jarvan here at all. Even if you hadn't already locked the Pantheon, because Aurora and Corki aren't going to care about it. But we just see a blind Camille.
Wow.
I mean, I'm assuming it's probably good into Aurora if that does get flex top. So they're holding their counter pick for LSD Dreams, which really makes me question the Jarvan all that more. I would say the Maokai might be tricky for Camille, but now we're seeing the Shen come through, and this is probably for Hero. It's a really good counter to the Pantheon. It's the same logic as the Nocturne Shen counter, except this one you actually are able to press the R key when you see the Pantheon.
I think you can also just put the Shen top here. Shen is a really good matchup into Camille.
And it looks like that's what they're doing, and they're picking Zyra jungle. This is Rockstar.
I think Shen's a great matchup into Camille. It's also a denial of a future pick from Spiral if you do happen to win this game or lose this game.
Okay, Poppy hovered. Poppy's actually a really good pick. It denies from Dave, and it's been one of his best champions. I don't know if all of these hovers were for jungle. We know Sandy has a really good Sylas. Maybe that's why they're not choosing to pick the Sylas. You do have to be careful of that in Fearless, but here is the full composition, and that is a lot of dashes that are countered by the Poppy. I don't know how much Heroes practiced it, but it's such a good champion in this spot.
I mean, it could be Poppy top or Poppy jungle.
Yeah, I think the hovers on the jungles could be a really good mislead by SR to make him think that it is going to be the top lane. Not that it really matters for this last pick, because you do know the top and jungle for both teams, but one of these, and honestly the two champions kind of gank the same, so you're not that worried about it. And that's going to be LeBlanc coming through. That's a statement for sure.
I don't know if I've actually got to see LSD play LeBlanc.
Well, we're going to see what the stats are in a sec. I'm going to pull them now. I'm going to assume that this is top Shen top because of the hovers, but I think they could be baiting us. Sandy Aurora is, you're gonna be glad it's gone if you're able to survive it, is my take on this. Honestly, keyword being if.
Yeah, and I mean, I also think if you're looking for Aurora counter picks, I don't think LeBlanc's necessarily one. I mean, I don't think the matchup's particularly insane in either direction. I think it's a pretty even matchup, in my experience at least. And you have picked LeBlanc into Poppy as well as into a champion like Shen, who can, obviously, put a shield down on whoever you are trying to assassinate.
Yeah, so
it's going to require really good execution.
It is Kage top, not surprisingly, and he is the one playing Shen.
Okay.
That is confirmed.
I mean, yeah, to me, this is just going to be really high execution required for PT. Both the Camille and the LeBlanc are going to have to play this game exceptionally well, in my opinion. You're both countered by the Poppy. I think Shen counters Camille pretty hard. Mid lane's like even, but I don't know if it's even when you're looking at it. Sandy's 4-0, 6.4 KDA, and yeah, it's a nice KDA from LSD Dreams as well.
Better KDA.
Yeah, but one game.
I mean, my 3 question marks here actually are Kage Shen, which, hey, he's won and did well, so I take it back.
Yeah.
Hero Poppy, though, he's 0-2 and really not looking good. So that's going to be something we're going to need to watch. I mean, every champion except for Ezreal has a dash that can be countered by Poppy. So I think you're definitely getting value if you're able to play it right, especially if you're able to stop some of the Pantheon engages. And I mean, the idea of the Shen is still present, even if it's not jungle v jungle. So I still really like the pick for Kage. Yug is going to be putting a lot of pressure on himself to perform well here. I think they're going to have some access to him, but not a ton. I think the agency is really going to be on Sandy to try and find picks onto it. And I think LeBlanc, while not necessarily the greatest counter into the Aurora, it's going to find angles to take out basically any of the squishy targets on the team. You just got to make sure you play away from the Poppy and the Shen, because if you get snagged by any of that CC, your life is pretty much over. And even though the Poppy E won't always slam you into the wall, if he's able to hit you with that and combo that into the Shen taunt, then you're just cooked if you go for a very greedy play. But I think LeBlanc is going to be able to assassinate the Nami and the Corki throughout the game. Aurora tends to build a lot of health, so I don't think that's going to be as reliable, honestly, which I think is part of the reason why it's not a great counter. But Dave, historically performing really well on the Camille. I think Spiral's, his Pantheons looked like one of his best champions, and obviously Fatal's Nautilus is really high up there. So I think they're really good in terms of comfort, but honestly, this composition is all over the place. None of them want to do the same thing. So it's going to be very difficult for PT to play, whereas SR has a very standard composition. They have really good peel for these two champions that can poke and just pop people when they need to. I think it's really on SR to lose this. I think they've won in draft. They have the game advantage, and they have no stress on them.
Yeah,
I mean, if they lose, they're fine. PT feels like they need to win this, and they might force it a little bit. LSD Dreams
PT
is
has to win
dropping
3
fat
games in a
right
row.
now, but
yeah, you're right, Dean. PT has to win 3 in a row to pull this off. I really like the SR draft. I think we've rightfully so given a lot of love to the Sandy Aurora. I also think Vetus's Corki has been really good when he's played it, and I also think Lelouch is a very good Nami player. And the last time these teams played in that previous series, we actually got to see this Corki Nami come out. And if I'm the way I remember that game is Nami Lelouch was doing such a nice job peeling in team fights with the ultimate, with the bubble against some champions that were trying to dive and kill her backline. That game it was Kennen and it was Vex. This time around you're looking at Camille and LeBlanc, and I just have faith in Lelouch to be able to find really good peel again. And if you combo that with a Poppy and with a Shin, I'm struggling to see how they're going to consistently take down Corki and Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these champ matchup stats in Scrim Zone, LeBlanc is favored. The bot lane, though, is pretty heavily favored, which is, I think, surprising to me, considering Ezreal and Nautilus were picked into it. I mean, I think this is just another like neutralizing lane. I think last game they picked the Caitlyn, the Unar to stop her from just having a free lane. I think that worked somewhat, but ultimately both of them ended up strong. This is going to be the same deal. I don't think Ezreal and Nautilus are really going to be punishing the Corki early. You're going to be reliant on your jungler and Blind Spiral to have that happen, and maybe some LeBlanc roams. I think Camille's going to be able to lock down the Aurora and Corki, but I don't think she's going to have that free of a lane, and I think she's just honestly going to get taken to Pound Town when she goes in and tries to engage. I think the only way that SR has to really force this fight is if everyone engages all at once, but that's not what Ezreal wants to do at all. So I'm just kind of wondering how these fights are going to play out. I think if they get a lead and they're able to just burst people right away, they could have an advantage throughout the game, but this is another one where you want PT to have an advantage throughout the entire early game and as we get into the mid game, and that's something that they really struggled to do in the last game, and I think it's harder for them to accomplish this time around with the scaling picks like the Ezreal and the Camille and to an extent the LeBlanc.
Yeah, I think the barrier of execution is high for PT here. Now if you are able to snowball on these champions, obviously they can be very devastating. If LeBlanc gets ahead, it's hard for anybody to really tank her. If the Camille can get going, if Pantheon can get going, Spyro had a really nice early game last game, but you're going to need it.
Yeah, I think we're just sitting through spectator delay right now. I'm a little antsy as a fan. I would hate to see a quick series. Is the stream down, or is that just my Twitch being weird? Okay, it's just my Twitch being weird.
The stream should be good. Yeah.
Whew, I was worried for a sec. Definitely wouldn't like to see a quick 3-0, but I honestly wouldn't be super surprised. SR has been playing really well this season, and I don't believe they've dropped a game in playoffs. So PT not only needs to win 3 in a row, they also need to be the first team to beat SR in playoffs. And they need to be the first team to win a series against this roster for SR. So very, very steep odds for them. I think if any team can do it, especially if I narrow it down to teams that are still in it, it's got to be PT.
Never tell them the odds, Dean. Never tell them the odds. It's not over till it's over.
If I tell them that everyone in the poll said that they weren't going to win, it'll motivate them, I think.
I mean, yeah, sure.
I don't know. This is certainly a fun comp. I don't think you can feel too bad about picking these champions in and hoping to win. Although honestly, just like sitting here and waiting for the spectator delay to tick down, I think my confidence in PT is just declining as I'm staring at this. But yeah, they do have LSD Dreams. I think he's been a really like his last game was really good. I think he was one of the only people who had like a huge lead. I think Yug had a really good upside on the Caitlyn. I think it's going to be harder for him to have that on the Ezreal, but he is going to have a lot of wiggle room to play safe and play defensively and keep himself alive. So if he's able to do that, he should be in a good position. But my eyes are going to be on our most improved player, Blind Spiral. I think he is going to be the one who's going to need to have the best game here in order for them to have a good time. But the problem is his champ is really hard countered by the Poppy and the Shen, and to an extent the Nami as well, because you can just buffer the bubble when he presses the W. So it'll be tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see if either mid laner is going to be able to grab much of an advantage in the 1v1. I do think it can go either direction just based on, the individual micro in the lane. A champion we've seen LSD Dreams play a lot in this kind of a spot this season has been the Galio, which I do think would have paired pretty well with their comp. They chose to go for the more aggressive pick. And I mean, if it pays off, it pays off. But we will see. I will say, LeBlanc is a champion where she gets going, as you already mentioned, has a lot of, obviously, burst threat, of course, onto the squishy members. But her chain is actually really useful against champions like Poppy and Shen. And can really kind of mess them up.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is kind of an underhanded thing to say, to be honest, but I do think this draft leaves PT with enough ammo left in their champ pool to win 2 more games after it. We're seeing definitely some comfort across the board, but I'd say super, super high comfort pick that they're going to regret not having later is only on 2 of the players, as opposed to what could have been on more of them. Whereas I feel like this is a very kind of blockbuster comp from SR where they're losing a lot of champions that are good for them as well. It seems like PT is playing more mindful of the fact that it's fearless, which I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't do that in this game, because this is, but I guess the rest of them are must-win games. So
in my opinion, it doesn't matter about next game. You got to win this game first. Yeah. Do whatever you can do to do it. So we'll see.
Yeah, and Spiral he was able to take out the ward and already got down to his blue buff. So
pretty standard runes and summoner spells across the board. LSD Dreams did opt to go for the ignite, but otherwise everyone else, solo laners having TP.
And confirming that Phase Rush is still in the game on the Poppy. Shows what I know. And this level 1 trading from Corki is very powerful, although Yug actually able to outtrade there. I think just landed a few extra Qs.
Yeah, and having Fatal really back on some engage, I think, is nice for them. Make playing that mid to late game a little bit easier. He's been so good on the engage champs this season.
He just hooked a minion there. Unfortunately, not the value you want to see. And huge trading down into Yug. I'll BRB. I gotta throw something out.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of a trade there top lane. And as we get later into the game, a lot of the Shen's value in this counter pick comes from the fact that a well-timed Spirit's Refuge on the Shen W can completely negate Camille's very powerful auto attacks. But Dave is trading pretty effectively right now. Gets the grass proc, gets the true damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be more comfortable in this matchup than Kage is. That's the Ignite down onto Lelouch here. I don't know if it's really going to have that much value. Snark was able to poke Yug out of that trade completely. Now the level 3 level ups are coming through for the PT bot lane, but Hero once again outpacing Blind Spiral on the jungle clear, and this time Spiral didn't even back.
Yeah, and we saw last game junglers pathing the same direction. This time around, they're going on opposite sides of the map, so it does appear that both junglers will probably be able to grab a crab this time instead of the double crab.
Yeah, and the Lucian only chugged one pot there. Sandy in big trouble, though, gets flashed on by the Camille, and he is just going to die. He burned his flash, and I think he's just going to be taken out. Although LSD Dreams has to flash forward, and I think he's going to die to a tower shot, and that's just a trade 1-for-1, and that's, you hate to see that. Fatal going in with the hook onto Snark. That bubble is going to go wide, and I think that is going to cost Snark his life, but Lelouch actually getting rooted up, but Yug's falling down super low, and that's a flash forward from Hero. Flash in exchange for Yug, but that ranged auto attack is available for Hero, and he gets hooked away from Yug. He's not able to find it, and they're not able to kill Fatal. And that was so sad.
That was insane. How well played there by the PT bot lane to not, no one goes down there and you get the kill?
Yeah, they're still looking for more. I think Snark and Lelouch might be able to survive this. Pots are ticking on both of them.
I love the aggression there, and
And they're baiting them.
Camille.
He's going in onto Yug, and he's not able to find it. But barrier flashes around. He's still not able to find the kill. Can Lelouch find the damage? I don't think she's going to. Oh no, she does find it. So that's a 1-for-1, and Lelouch is going to burn down to Fatal. And actually, Yug gets the kill from, I think, Hero's red buff. So that's actually 2 kills going down into Ezreal. What is happening?
This game is insane. But I didn't even see where Sandy lost his flash, though. Like, he must have lost his flash off screen, I think. Like, just 1v1. Because that was a nice play by Dave to get the flash hook shot. Unfortunately, you did get the trade, so it's not as devastating for Sandy as it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sandy did a really good job of recovering that play. I think when you don't get the kill with Hero, you just back out. Yug did a really good job of dodging away from the E from the Poppy. And the ranged auto from Corki or from Poppy, I think, could have killed Fatal because they were only able to hit the Nautilus. It's just, that's one of those fights that's so tough to play because you don't really know where your team's going to be able to put the damage down, and they don't find the damage down onto Yug or Fatal enough to get the kill. Lelouch was able to trade one back, but a 1-for-2 is just not worth it. And
I mean, it's 5 minutes in, and Ezreal has Sheen and Tyr. Like, Ezreal is sitting so happy right now.
Yeah, and he's hurting the Corki. I was saying that it would be hard for them to really punish this lane and get an advantage when something like that happens and you're able to get 3 kills, actually. It's super worth it.
And LSD Dreams is trading very well. The chain is so useful against Aurora because, as you can see, Aurora's little invisible hop away. If the chain is connected, you're most of the time not going to be able to actually get out of the range.
Yeah, Hero's going here for round 2, it looks like. He might just be starting up the dragon, but he's maybe hoping that they can bait him up into the river. They're going to walk, but it looks like Nautilus and Ezreal aren't going to follow, so looks like Hero's going to try to start this early dragon stacking, but this should result in more CS for the Ezreal, and he can push his lead a little bit. The Corki is still going to have that prio, and Blind Spiral's just kind of stuck in no man's land here. He's not able to find anything on the invade, and you're not going to dive a Shen. So just better jungle positioning from Hero. He knew the right place to be. And kind of makes up for that early play. But actually, it looks like Spiral might be able to take away the blue buff, if I saw the map correctly.
Coming up in 2 seconds. So should be able to, get that blue steal and trade for the drag.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you got something, but if I had to choose between the blue Sentinel or Hextech Dragon, there's one I prefer.
It'll be interesting to see if he sticks around here, because I do think a 3v3 is favoring PT's top side right now if everyone collapsed into the jungle. But he's going to choose to just back off.
Yeah, LSD Dream's still out trading here. Sandy's just going to get flashed on. He's able to buffer away, and the Shen ultimate is going to save him. But he's just going to need to leave here at this point.
Yeah, so I mean, it's flash for Shen ult, but lets Dave kind of continue to grow his advantage.
And Sandy's zoned off the wave until he can base here, and he's not going to be able to get back very quickly.
Top.
He doesn't have TP available.
Yeah, Kage's able to TP back top.
Ooh, huge chunk from Sandy. He has his ultimate available, actually, but he gets rooted up, and that Ignite might be able to kill him. Yeah, Lelouch isn't able to save him. Had the heal summoner spell, actually.
Yeah, Lelouch had heal. Wow.
Maybe she thought he was going to
unfortunate that they're able to connect that kill, but again, I think LSD Dreams just played that really well. May get traded on by the Poppy, but
his positioning well enough. The Pantheon, able to get over the wall. I honestly might have waited to dash a little bit, see if he could finish off the bait, but Spiral now has level 6, and there's not going to be a Shen ult to counter it immediately. This is the advantage that we wanted to see from PT last game, but they have it this time around.
Yeah, and I think LSD Dreams is just showing like he's very comfortable on this LeBlanc champ and is playing the matchup really well. Has 2 kills now.
Yeah, and Fatal playing super aggressively, looking to start even in farm. Going to drop the hook after the dash was already used by Corki, and he just gets chunked, and Spiral's already here, and that's another kill over to Yug. If they stick around, they might be able to pick Nami too.
And this is just a really nice early game for this side of PT, bouncing back really well here.
And you can tell Snark just got too nervous there. He burned the dash for basically no reason. You got to hold that until the hook's actually thrown out. He just kind of used it out of nerves, and Fatal punished it perfectly. He knew that there were no mobility spells left for Snark and just dropped that hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, and Sandy missing the E, and he's going to get rooted. He gets over the wall,
Wow.
but LC Dreams just really benefiting from all these trades in the mid lane. And this is the way to stop the Aurora, I guess. A lot of teams have just been scared of it, but LC Dreams is shutting the shit down in the early game.
Camille's hanging around again, potentially looking for a gank.
Yeah, this time Sandy has flash and ultimate, so I feel like he should be okay, but the amount of roams that they've done towards mid is a really good way to put Sandy behind. I think this is probably something that they prepped, but they weren't able to do it when Sandy had rotated towards top. Because I think the goal is to get
I will
LC
say,
Dreams
though,
ahead.
Dean, I think if you press gold for us, though, I don't think he's actually that far behind.
Yeah, only 400. Top lane is huge, though. There's 1,000 gold difference on Ezreal. Sandy and LSD Dream still trading pretty evenly now. I think more points in Aurora's abilities, and when she's able to connect, it's doing really well. And Kage definitely out trading Dave at that point. I think a couple autos on a minion, but still able to get more damage.
And they are going to be able to grab the grubs, so they get first drag and grubs, despite, as you mentioned it, some pretty nice early game stuff for PT. And Aurora's looking top here. May have an angle onto Dave.
Yeah, Dave's super low here. He's going to be able to immune some stuff. He gets close enough to his tower. He just gets junked. I think if Poppy had kind of gone for the deep route in advance, it could have set him up, but they're not going for it. Pantheon's ultimate coming up in probably about 20 seconds.
It's a nice range, max range E by Dave there to be able to get away. And you do just get Sandy's ultimate out.
Yeah, you can tell he's really comfortable on the champion. But huge taunt coming out from Kage. Forces that passive shield out. But Kage's playing this really well. Huge trade from Dave, though. Definitely just mitigated everything that just happened to him. But Spiral's mid again, and Sandy's in a tough spot here. LSD Dreams was flashing forward looking for the root, and Sandy's able to buffer it, but still takes the damage and has to flash. Spiral had flash, so I think if Sandy didn't, he was just done for.
Yeah, if Sandy didn't break that second chain, he was definitely dead.
This is a very growing gold lead. It's almost at 3K at this point. And now the next dragon looks like it is going to be going over to Project Tuesdays. LSD Dreams, huge chunk, not able to find it.
Oh, wow. Almost got him right there.
Yeah, Hero's repositioning, looking to maybe play defensive, but not going to be able to do anything about this dragon, especially with how accelerated the Ezreal is. He's in the area, but his ward's showing that the dragon isn't in the pit anymore. He's just going to help him clear out this vision now that he knows about it. And Lelouch almost too far extended there, but Fatal coming down. He has the ultimate, misses the hook. That Ezreal ult is off the map. Not really going to connect on anybody, but did a good job of clearing that wave out faster, which is the goal. And Dave still has the CS lead top. I think Kage is able to outtrade, but Dave just the better farmer. I think Kage we always see some CS. He's playing against stronger opponents. Both of these, the role swapping players. So I guess the key to making it to finals is having a role swap top this series, or this season. I didn't know.
Maybe.
You guys kind of did it, but
it
didn't work out as well. And Sandy just almost
good
getting trading there,
trading.
and he might have died. And this is the ultimate drop down onto Snark.
Here
He
goes
is going to wait for
Pantheon.
everything, but actually they're able to. Wow, really good bubble onto Blind Spiral's ultimate, and Lelouch and Snark both flashing away, and they should be able to live.
Hook or no?
That
Wow.
was really impressive from Lelouch. Perfectly aimed that to stop the Pantheon ultimate. And now Poppy's looking for the collapse onto Dave. I don't know if he's going to be able to find it. He knows he's not on vision, and Dave is going to have the pushing wave, forcing this a little bit. Once Kage finds the taunt, they're going to find the angle to go in with Poppy. And now that shield is already out. Hero going in. They didn't put any damage into the shield. Really smart. And I think Dave is going to fall. He gets knocked up with the ultimate and is going to flash out. But he gets a stun onto Shen under tower. He's able to just walk it out. And I believe he is going to be fine. Sandy has the ultimate, could be looking over the wall here, and Hero going to get the stun on him. And Sandy, not able to get it, is going to drop the ultimate to find it, but I think that means LSD Dreams is going to kill him. But Snark going in for the 1v1 on Yug, and that's so much damage. The ultimate almost finds it, but that's a shutdown onto the Ezreal, and that's the last thing you wanted. And now the Shen taunt is coming in, and they're able to find it onto LSD Dreams, and LSD Dreams gets bursted down, and he's killed by Kage, and you just almost lost your entire lead in this game. You still have 1,000, but now Snark is getting hooked by Fatal, and Blind Spiral's going in, but I think Snark's almost able to find the kill into Fatal. He's not able to get it. Lelouch gets him over the wall, but now I think he's going to be taken down from Spiral. So this is the second time Lelouch is able to get a kill in exchange for a 1v2. And if that play bot lane with Blind Spiral didn't go your way, you've lost everything. That was a shutdown onto Yug. The LeBlanc didn't have a shutdown, but she thought she was doing something, and the turnaround Shen ultimate from Kage just completely saves the fight. He hits the taunt, all the CC lands, the Poppy and Aurora able to follow up really well.
Yeah, I think Kage played that sequence really well.
But now Sandy might be in trouble. He's getting collapsed on by Spiral and LSD Dreams. He's able to chunk LSD for half, and now he's kind of walking up. But if he's able to free hit down to LSD, it could be good. But now Dave 3-man collapse, and they are just going to take him out. So the hubris a little high there. Not the item. But, oh well. I think that exchange was still really good for SR across the board, and it's made this game a lot more interesting.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They're hunting for fish here. Good lore matchup. Nautilus can hook for fish. Not really lore, but
I see what you're saying, Dean.
Yeah. It is crazy. That's played 28 or now 29 times in Scrim Zone. Two very common champions, but fun to see another notch in that belt. Hero could be collapsed on here, but his bot lane's here to defend him, and this could be really bad. That bubble goes out into freaking Narnia, but now the Nami ultimate comes through. They're actually able to catch Yug, but he'd already buffered the ultimate, which connects onto all three of them, and they're just going to need to leave.
Yeah, Pantheon's getting in range with ultimate.
But Sandy being here, I think, kind of mitigates it. But actually, they're clearing this control herd, so they're all on vision, and LeBlanc and Pantheon were both looking at a collapse. Didn't choose to pull the trigger on it, but now Fatal walking forward, looking for the hook, and they could still continue to find this play. Now Sandy isn't in the picture. That Hex Flash is not getting Hero out of there. And he's in such a bad spot, and Lelouch and Hero are probably just going to die. There's 5 people here. I mean, respawns are going to be a
That was a little weird.
They should have just left.
I'm not sure. I think Hero thought he was going to be able to Hex Flash over the wall, but it was too fat of a wall, so he just got stuck. And
yeah, that's my guess too.
Yeah. Kind of 2 freebies there as we're getting ready for drag. And this should be second drag, I would think, for PT here. And if you're able to get Infernal Soul.
Yeah, if you weren't able to get a kill when you have the Poppy kind of deep in no man's land looking for something, I don't think you're going to be able to win this fight with LSD Dreams sitting there. They do have a kind of a 4-man collapse, so they could pull the trigger after the fight, but I believe the Poppy's on vision into LSD Dreams, although Hero looking to channel over the wall, but he just loses half his health immediately. Spiral isn't able to W over to him, but Lelouch and Snark looking for the play onto Fatal and Yug. They're not able to find it. Snark's just going to have to run, and now Sandy and Hero in big trouble, although they're looking for the burst down onto Blind Spiral. They burn too much damage into the E, but I think Spiral could be in big trouble here. And actually, Snark and Lelouch are both alive, and that is a shutdown onto the Pantheon. How is he worth 700 gold? But Sandy's picking up all of it, and Fatal's super low. Sandy flashing forward, able to get another shutdown, and that is $500 of shutdown gold into Sandy's pocket, and that's the last thing you want to see on this Aurora. And he almost finds another kill onto the Ezreal.
Dave did just get Kage's flash there, but I mean,
they got the dragon.
How did that go so poorly for them? They just did a really nice job kiting them out, and then Poppy's ultimate was super good. It knocked away LeBlanc, which left Spiral alone when it looked like LeBlanc's flank was actually going to pay off really well.
Nishan called out
really
in
good
chat
team fighting.
The Shen ultimate was used, but Camille was able to interrupt the actual channel, so the shield did go off at that part of the fight, which I think is pretty pivotal. LSD Dreams forced to flash away from that part of the play, though. But yeah, I mean, I think they just had the flank. They knew exactly where PT was, and I don't think PT was really assuming all of them would rotate. They looked like they had the kill on Lelouch, but they weren't actually able to follow up on it. So Lelouch's cooldowns were able to come back up, and it was really pivotal in that fight. I don't even think Lelouch ulted in that fight, which is ridiculous. Or she did. It was right at the beginning. It's a lot of ultimates available right now. Maybe it's just been a while, but I guess it's been a minute and 40 since that fight. It didn't feel like it. And now the ultimate is coming through, but he gets immediately canceled. Drop the W, or maybe his ultimate got countered by Hero, but Hero just gets taken out, and that is going to be the Rift Herald going over to the Pantheon. Sandy almost got picked off there, but he should just be able to leave.
Yeah.
good ultimate from Spiral, and they're able to pick off Hero as a result of it. Hero going for the more offensive build, which means he is going to be able to be killed a lot easier. And that mid turret's destroyed without even having to invest the Rift Herald into it.
Yeah, really
PT
nice.
Still has an advantage that they're able to pull away a little with. They just keep making some mistakes that are making it not as big as it could be. Corki is the target for their team now.
Wait,
Spiral does not have
kind
the
of a
ultimate,
weird
but
Rift Herald usage
Snark
though.
is
Like
pretty far up.
I mean, he
think
used
Fatal's
Rift
gonna
Herald
be able to
after
get there
they
in
got
time,
the
but
turret.
Lelouch actually able to knock him up, and he has to just buffer the hook into it. But now Spiral collapsing onto Lelouch, but they're happy with this. There's a lot expended for PT in exchange for a flash and an ultimate, but ultimately you don't die, so it's kind of okay. Or not basically nothing expended for PT. That's my bad. Misspoke there. They didn't do anything.
I mean, they did. I thought that was weird. Spiral just used the Rift Herald mid after they already got the first turret. No one was riding it. I mean, they got some chunk damage onto that second tower, but I mean, you could have held that for a long time.
Yeah, I wonder if he was trying to sweep her by accident. Happens sometimes.
Maybe.
I really think it should just go on a different key. I'm gonna be real. Now that we can put teleport on V, like Rift Herald can go on like I don't know, fucking anything else.
I don't disagree with you, Dean. No one is top right now to answer Aurora because you have LeBlanc bot and they've spotted that on Vision. So Sandy knows that they can just push into that turret with no concern whatsoever.
I mean, this
And
is another
LeBlanc's just
game
like fishing for kills, but
it's another game
on
with
Vision
no
this whole
true
time.
tanks. So I think it's hard for
Yeah.
them to really match the Aurora. She's going to be able to blow up anyone. Pantheon and Nautilus are somewhat tanky, as well as Camille, but it's a little better than last game.
LeBlanc's
Really
just
not by much.
LeBlanc's just dropping farm though, like just sitting around in that jungle. I don't know. You do send Ezreal top now, but now Ezreal's on the wrong side of the map with Dragon coming up in a minute. Mage's be able to get a reset off after this wave and get there in time. Yeah. This is one of the things when you don't take teleport on mid lane, LSD Dreams has trouble, going to that opposite side of the map.
Yeah, they were able to punish fairly well with it in the early game, but not well enough, in my opinion, to justify it. And I think some of those kills you could have gotten without the Ignite. But, I mean, hindsight 2020.
Big bush cheese here. We'll see if it catches anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for it to work super well with the Shen ultimate available. A lot of the times that engage will just turn the other way. And Hero just caught out here, but he's able to turn pretty well back onto LSD Dreams and Fatal. And there comes the Shen taunt, and he's not actually able to knock anyone away with the Poppy ultimate. But Spiral just getting caught up on anyone. Snark is able to be taken down here. And I think Dave is going to be the next victim for the team. And I think it's going to be 2-2 either way. But Kage and Hero both really low. A huge taunt coming out from Kage. They're not able to punish LSD Dreams off the back of it. They get a huge chunk onto him after killing his clone, but that initial reaction was to target the wrong one, and they're bot lane alive. I don't know if they can just start up the dragon considering Hero's going to be alive, but that was a really good fight there. Sandy walking forward, knew that LSD Dreams was in the area, wasn't able to find the kill, but 3 for 2 in exchange for PT. I thought that was played really well by SR, but PT just played it better.
Yeah, Dave did a really nice job getting onto the Corki as Camille. Really locked him down there. And yeah, I mean, it's a 2k gold lead. We'll see if they're able to turn this into a dragon. They're going to look for Sandy here.
Just use his cooldown. Get him. Hero's here. The root does come out, though, and that's a ton of damage.
That's
and
huge.
He gets nothing back in return, which is not what I was expecting. Hero just getting chunked out here. They're able to find the bubble onto the Ezreal, which should keep him alive, but Hero's not able to find the range, and LSD Dream's just going to be able to pick up another one here.
LSD Dreams is going crazy right now. Just finds 2 really nice kills, and that's going to be drag.
I'm confused how Sandy wasn't able to cast like any spells in that exchange. It only roots him.
I think he had just used his E on the wave, like right before he came in.
Well, I guess he can't use the E while he's rooted, and now Lelouch just picked up as well, walked into that Camille.
I mean, the root is very strong against Aurora. Both her R and her W, I believe, you can't do while rooted.
Well, the E as well, right? Because it pushes her back.
Yeah, the E as well. But yeah, the E wasn't even on was on cooldown, I believe. But I do think it's worth mentioning the influence of Sandy. It's kind of funny to me to see the Rocket Belt even on a champion like LeBlanc.
Yeah.
As much as we've seen that item getting picked on Fun Champs this season, another one. And LSD Dreams is just showing us why he went for the LeBlanc.
They have
playing
4
really
alive.
well.
They don't have a Lucian available. It still looks like they want to contest. They don't just want to give
Poppy
it over.
might get here.
But yeah, Poppy's not necessarily close enough. But huge ultimate from Sandy. So much damage. Not able to find anyone. And then Nautilus ultimate does come through. They're able to kill Blind Spiral. So this Baron should just be theirs. And Hero's walking into the pit. And he's going to look to take it.
Keep the aggro, though. It's just their Baron now.
And LSD Dreams might get sniped over the wall. He goes in. He just immediately gets taunted.
What?
Why would you go in there? But he's actually fine. He just hits W back. And Sandy walking forward forces the flash out.
They both flash. Or no, he flashes.
Yeah, no, Sandy didn't have to.
Wow. Sandy did a nice job in that team fight, getting damage down onto the Ezreal and the Pantheon. And
hey, the
SR just keeps winning team fights, man.
They would have evened up the gold if it was last season. But Nash isn't worth that much, so it's okay, I guess. They've almost evened it up, though. And Hero, huge flank, is going to find the stun onto LSD Dreams, and he just gets picked off immediately. But he's able to find a kill onto Sandy to kind of neutralize it out, and now Hero's going to get taken down as well. So I think that was in favor of PT. Pantheon Ultimate is available. They're choosing not to use it, though, because there's no follow-up. And Camille, really good split. Dave's kind of quietly been having a really good game. He's 5-2-4. I think he's been playing pretty well.
Camille has been a champion Dave has found success on during this role swap period and is doing a lot of work in this game and will continue to be super threatening for a champion like Corki in team fights or even Aurora if he chooses to switch his focus.
Yeah, both these mid laners have been playing so aggressively. I feel like last game it was the ADCs who were playing more aggressive than they needed to. Now it's the mids. I'm just here for it. I think it's exciting.
It's definitely exciting. I mean, as you can see, Sandy as well. Aurora is a champion that doesn't have to go for a mana item, which Sandy's opted to do here. Hasn't gone for the Proto Belt or the Rocket Belt, which we've seen Sandy actually do on an Aurora before. This game's opting for just straight raw damage with the Shadow Flame and looking like a third item. Rabadon's probably going to come through.
Yeah, and LSD Dreams is hunting down Kage here. Is just going to take the W back.
Yeah, the Shen actually has to be kind of careful of LeBlanc just because Shen has built no magic resist yet this game.
Yeah, I don't really think he needs to. Everyone else in the game is physical damage, and LeBlanc isn't going to one-shot him. But he can't live against her for a while on side lane. Sandy actually just gets all of his damage dodged away by Dave.
Whoa.
The Shen ultimate is coming through, and Hero's in the area. I think Sandy is going to be fine here. I wonder if they're going to be able to turn this. Everyone is there. The Ezreal ultimate is going to come through and almost kill Sandy, but they're able to find a kill onto Dave. That's a shutdown. And Blind Spiral looking for the kill onto Sandy and is going to be able to find it. I wonder if they're going to be able to chase down the Pantheon. He's going to have the move speed from the jungle, but Hero in the area. Can he find the angle? But he gives him closer to the Blast Cone, but they're going to be able to find it. That's a 2-for-1. Ezreal able to find the mid turret, though, and PT is able to maintain their lead despite how this play went. Snark is going to get a turret, though. LSD Dreams pushing for one of these very valuable side lane turrets, and I don't think
they're going to get it with the bot lane rotation.
Yeah, Shen's going to be there to match it, as well as Poppy. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. They might be able to take this tower, but Snark is just taking the other top tower, and they have Baron. They're going to push faster. They also have the Grubs, so they're really going to be pushing faster, and you're just trading these side lane turrets. And I think you have to question whether it's worth it or not, because now SR has pretty much closed that lead. It's not very big. The Infernal Soul is going to be the big advantage, but they won through Soul last time, so they should be able to do it again, in theory. But we'll have to see how this fight breaks down in 45 seconds, because PT has a much greater Dragon advantage in this game than they did the previous one. But gold lead only down to 1,000.
LSD Dreams critically did just pick up Death Cap off all the gold that was received on that play, staying bot lane.
Yeah, Aurora is so close to it. He's sitting on 2,300, has the teleport, so could just get enough for it. Yep, he's going to buy it.
It's going to buy it right here. Wow, this team fight's going to be super explosive. Both mid laners have so much damage.
And the amount of magic
and
resist
Sandy's critically is a little bit more AoE.
There's a lot of Merc Treads on PT. Basically no MR except for the item onto Poppy. But Hero, huge engage. Fatal almost just drops immediately. But Blind Spiral onto the back line, and he's just going to get bursted. He pressed the E in the wrong direction, and now LSD Dreams getting hunted down. Uses the Proto Belt, but gets stunned into the wall, and he's just taken out immediately, and this is going to be a dragon. Hopefully PT can only drop 2 here. But there goes the gold lead, and they're only up 1 dragon, and I think that's making up for the Grubs. And this is a dead even game.
Yeah, I mean, teamfight execution just heavily favored SR there. I mean, you completely chunked out Nautilus before the fight even started, and then just really good target focus first on the blind spiral and then on to the LeBlanc.
Oh, Stark flashing there. Fatal hit a minion. He was fine. Yug almost dying here, and he's getting so much poke down. He's out of ultimates, though. And now Fatal hooking in. The bubble misses him, but the Shen ultimate did just come through, and Snark is going to live, and Kage's here. That's a really good bait from them. They're able to take Dave down, and Fatal dies before the hook goes off. And now Yug just trying to walk out of this. And they've taken over this game so powerfully. This is another game where I feel like PT needs to have an advantage at this point to be able to get things done. And Hero stuns him into the wall. This time he's in the right way, but he's still going to get taken down. Snark unstoppable, and LSD Dreams dashing forward, and he's not able to find the kill, and he dies to the Corki. Snark is going to tick down to the Ignite, so he's able to get it in the end. But Hero almost finding the kill onto Yug, and he's not going to die for it. And SR is just taken over this game. It feels like Sandy's just going to kill Yug with the ultimate. This is a 5-for-1. They're continuing to fight. After they lose the dragon fight, they were down members. All they had to do was just give a turret or two because they lost 2 people, and you can live with that. But now the Nautilus respawn is through, and they cycled through an entire respawn cycle there and still ended up dying. The kill scores basically evened out, and they were up by 8 at one point. And I don't know. We were talking earlier about how it's really going to come down to the jungle because Blind Spiral, I think, did not have a great series in their previous matchup, but he was one of the big reasons why they were able to be so dominant in the first time they played and why they were so good against Metabusters in, I guess, both series. And this time I feel like Hero's just outplaying him. He was the entire initiation of that fight. Blind Spiral presses E the wrong way on Pantheon, dies, and that's just a simple mechanical error. And I feel like Hero's just been playing this game so well. Their scorelines are very similar, and I think the impact of the Poppy has been a lot more subtle. But honestly, shout out Kage. He's died once this game. Name me another player who's even close to that.
Kage has played very well with this Shen counter pick into the Camille. His ultimates have been very massive, finds nice taunts, and to only have 1 death, as you just said, is some really great stuff.
Yeah, they're just pushing towards Nash here. And obviously, the full roster of repeat victors, if this game goes the way it's looking, is going to be Lelouch, Hero, and Kage. But Kage is the one that I think really matters. Hero and Lelouch were kind of bench riding last season. I think Kage really showed up well on the ADC role, which I believe is an off roll. LSD Dreams fishing almost gets caught there. But okay, this fight might be interesting. Just kidding. It's just going to be an Ashe that's going over, and LSD Dreams might get caught for it. But as I was saying, Kage makes the role swap towards top and has basically the exact same value he did for QC last season, where he's just able to play defensive, maybe not win all the lanes, but he always has such a strong impact in these games, and it's just impossible to punish him through it. And I think we could be looking at one of the new Scrim Zone kind of goats. Very in a different way than some other players. LSD Dreams looking for something, not able to find it, and Hero just immediately pins Dave to the wall, drops the ultimate, and it does end up canceled, so he should be able to get it back pretty soon. He's in a bit of trouble, and that is going to be the Blind Spiral ultimate, but he's going to die for it on one side of the map, so both junglers looking for a play and are going to get punished for it. But that's just a 1-for-1, and this top tower almost drops, and that's 4 Nash is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, they do get a kill back, but it does starting to feel like they're kind of delaying the inevitable here. And I think you mentioned it, but yeah, Kage just deserves all the praise to be able to go back. If you're able to pull it off and go back to back, that's just...
Oh, huge flank from LSD Dreams. He's almost able to find the Lelouch. He's not going to, and he gets chunked down to basically nothing, but he is able to live. Snark dashing forward, gets so much damage down onto Fatal, almost drops the kill. Dave looking for it, but Fatal able to hook himself back to tower. Huge flash comes in from Sandy. He's able to pick off Fatal. He's able to find another one onto the Ezreal. 9, 6, and 7 on this pick so far, and he's looking for another kill. LSD Dreams and Dave both basically dead, and it looks like SR is just going to close this down. If they win this game here, they will have had a flawless playoffs, not a single game dropped. And not a single series dropped with this roster this season.
And it looks like they're going to be able to close it here, I assume. I mean, you do have 3 alive.
Huge fight, though. The health bars are a little low. LSD Dreams looking for the kill onto Snark. He's not going to be able to find it, but I think Dave should be able to. But no, Shen Ultimate is going to be able to save him, and this is just going to be game. Really well played. 10k gold lead. They're closing this out, and hey, they didn't take up too much of our time. SR closing this out.
No, they made it a quick night for us.
Wow.
I mean, I think we could just sit here and praise every single member on that team. I think they all played so well. Had games throughout the course of the season where, you know, any of them rightfully so and could have received MVPs and did. And I mean, just one of the most dominant performances we've seen in the server. I mean, just a really strong team, and I think the finals just again showed it. I mean, PT had a great season as well. A team that a lot of people, I think, early on, weren't necessarily expecting to make it this far, and had a lot of dominant wins themselves. I mean, I think they just fell just short. I mean, it's not a controversial take at all to say that. I think they were clearly like the second best team this season, but SR just happened to be on another level.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's see if we can turn on our cams for some interviews here. Let me see if I can get this working. Maybe we'll kick it over to the podcast screen. But I do want to get some interviews down for all the members of SR. I think they definitely deserve it from the season. It's been really clean from them. But let's see who I can get in first. Let me shuffle this the way that makes sense. Let's start with Lelouch. If I can, oh my gosh, I cannot get this to move. Let me just right click. Where is okay?
Like me? Oh, hi.
Hello.
Hello.
You can do cam if you want or not. It's completely up to you. But anyway, congrats on the win. I was super happy we got to see a Renata game in finals. I've been loving that all season. I think I'm definitely the benefactor of a couple of those Renata MVPs. It's super fun to watch that champion, especially when you're the one playing it. That Yunara, Renata, Nami, Corki, that's like exactly what you want to see from your bot lane. And I think Fatal is a player that's been praised a lot, and I think you probably just outplayed him this series. So congratulations on that. But do you have anything you want to say after the win?
It was really fun. But yeah, me, Hero, and Snork have played Lisa and Yunara Renata so many times. Like that's like I love playing Renata with Lisa. But yeah, Fatal hit Karma. I hate playing against Karma with Renata. You can't do anything in the lane. So it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of the less exciting Renata games you played, but that's what happens when you get counterpick. Calling out the Lee Sin Renata value, though, it's something I noticed a lot in game, but didn't really comment on it, so I'm glad you said something about it. But
yeah, super fun.
Any questions? Or if we could just...
Lelouch, what was your favorite part about playing with this team? I mean, what'd you enjoy this season? Other than winning, I guess.
Everything. I think we all work well together. And I mean, I like playing with Snark. I don't want to not play with him. And, no, but we all, like, talk really well together, I think, and vibe. We just, like, know each other, so it works.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thanks!
All right, well, we'll pull Vitas or Snark next. So, hello. Congratulations. We got to see the Yunara. That's always fun. I feel like Corki is definitely one of the champions that's lower on your list, but definitely fun to watch that too. Looking a little bit rough in the second game. Was there kind of any worry as that game went on that maybe you'd have to go to a game 3, or were you all confident the whole time?
I think we were pretty confident the whole time. With Corki, like we had a couple of bad outcomes in lane, but I'm always just going to be able to do so much damage and contribute way more than Ezreal in the team fights. Like Ezreal has to play perfectly to even do like half of the DPS. And with Sandy, he was fully confident, and I was pretty confident in my damage too, and we were all just clicking. It was working. Every engagement was just nice.
I have a question. Was the game 1 role swap, was that something that was like pre-planned before the series, or was that something y'all kind of came up more with in draft, just how it shook out?
Yeah, we came up with it on the fly. We didn't really have any plans to do lane swaps, but Kage called out the Lissandra, and then Sandy realized that we could find an advantage in the swap, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it did.
Were you surprised at all that they chose red and gave over Yunara? I was personally surprised about it. I feel like I always favored blue, at least early in the series, for Fearless, and that's a champion that had been really contested across a lot of playoff series, and I think you're the one that's known for it more than anybody else, and the fact that you ended up getting to play it, was that a surprise for you?
It definitely was. We spent probably about 90% of our time planning for red side. I mean, we knew blue was an option, but we figured red would be less desirable because you kind of forced to ban the Nocturne in this matchup. And yeah, I'm not too sure why they took red. I think they wanted the R3 and R5s, but we were just a little confused. We thought blue is pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely made it look pretty strong. I think you had a lot of good drafts. I do want to move on to Sandy, but he is deafened. I don't know if you know if he's not at his keyboard right
He
now?
did go to the restroom, yes.
Okay, I will wait till he's back then, and I'm going to pull Hero because he's streaming, and that's going to be really annoying for him. So,
Of course.
all right. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
All right, Hero. Congratulations on the win. I think a lot of eyes were on Jungle for this series, and I think you really brought the A game to it. I think we talked all this smack about, you could leave the Lee Sin up. Obviously, you proved us wrong. Maybe I just wanted to see the Lee Sin. Were you happy to get to play it in
Dude,
finals?
it's for the fans, dude. I had to play it in finals. I
Was
egoed
it-
it a little bit. But
Hey, man. The Nocturne would have carried just as hard, but the Lee Sin's more exciting. So the
like,
people
gosh,
won.
Don't say Nocturne, bro. Chef is so cringe.
Was it the plan to slam Lee Sin if it was up no matter what, or was it kind of a situational thing?
No.
Okay.
We got the Yunara first pick, which we kind of didn't expect, right? Because we're like, oh, surely they switch stuff up, and then we knew we'd get some like one OP, like either a mid, jungle, or AD for game one, but yeah, we just kind of saw that both Lee or Renata were open, and we're just like, well, let's just slam it, and then we can round out our comp on 4-5, and it should be fine into whatever.
Yeah, and you mentioned the OP picks. I honestly feel like the priority in this series was so different than what we've seen for the rest of the season. I kind of felt to me that PT was kind of budgeting some picks for later down the series. You guys were just picking what had worked for you the whole time. Was that something that kind of caught you guys off guard? We got to see, obviously he denied the Xin Zhao from the both of you in the first game.
I think that was
thought he
good.
played well, but the picks like the
yeah.
LeBlanc and the Hui were not something that we expected much.
No, I think LSD Dreams pool is like a little pinched on like picking second rotation. He's just picked second rotation both games, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think that hurt him a little bit. Like I think Dave dropping, like their top lane dropping every time makes sense. But yeah, I think mid first rotation is like what's worked for them in the past. But they played good. Bite Spiral played really well in game one, in particular. I thought like on Xin Zhao he was pressuring a lot of back and forth. So props to him.
Yeah, that player on Baron Pit I thought was really good. I was one of the best plays in the whole series. Unfortunately for them, it didn't result in the game win, but it really turned the tide of the game at the point.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just say I thought you had a really nice value with your ultimates that game on Poppy. Thought you
you.
played it really well.
Yeah, that engage was on Dragon was like snap engage. Just found the angle and ended up working out really well.
Yeah, well,
Did not plan on playing Poppy, but I played it.
Well, yeah, we
They,
saw you
they
flip
gave
through
you all the
a few.
dashes, so yeah.
The
Well,
Zyra
congrats.
hover would have been really fun. So we didn't get to see that, but
Yeah,
Next season.
right.
for sure.
Yeah, well, congrats on the win. Obviously, a little salty you didn't sign to my team, but given how the season went, I think you obviously made the right choice. So no hard feelings at all. I'm glad you guys got the win. Definitely fun to get to see you off the bench this season. I hope we get to continue to see that going forward. I think you were one of the people who got to play more last season, but definitely getting to see you play. Hey, you didn't drop a series this whole season, so.
Yeah, I'll say
only-
I'm a little
only two people
snubbed
on
on
your
All
team can say
Pro.
that.
My team didn't drop a game in playoffs.
Yeah, that's
Just a little bit snubbed.
Talk your shit. You earned it.
But no, GG's all around. It was fun set of series and a really fun season.
yeah, for sure. I'm gonna
congrats.
pull in. I want to pull in Sandy here, but thanks for your time and once again, congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, if I can find it. All right, hello, Sandy. I'm hoping
Hey, how are you doing?
you're back from the bathroom. But hey, first season for you, not for anyone else on that roster, but you came in and you got it done the first time around. I'm just gonna hot question right off the bat: are you winning next season? Are you gonna be undefeated in seasons?
I mean, if I play next season, I think it depends on what my points are worth and other things on whether or not I'll win. I think this season, I think the point system heavily undervalued me, if I'm going to be honest. As it does, I think, a number of people. I think maybe there needs to be a season-wide reevaluation after this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think teams ended up being pretty fair. I think somehow your team was overall an econ friendly team somehow. You'll
I
definitely
mean,
get
I think
working out, but
it always benefits new players to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It takes more than 10 games to truly evaluate someone's skill, and I mean, I think Sandy you played excellent this season. My biggest question after this series, well, first, just congratulations, and second, just congrats on a great season. But why did the Rocket Belt priority drop for you this series?
A solo AP character with an unmissable ult that does 1,000 damage. So
Makes sense.
pretty good to just build as much damage as possible. I don't really need to get into range into their team.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
your
gonna
influence
call
was
you out.
felt.
You said if you play next season. Is that really up in the air, or are you just trolling? Because if I don't get to see you play next season, I'm gonna be a little mad.
I might not. I mean, it depends on some factors. We'll see. I had a fun time, but it was definitely a long time playing League. I kind of haven't played in like almost 2 years outside of this.
Okay, that's a fair reason to not continue.
I mean, that means you're just warming up. So
Oh, that's true. Uh-oh.
watch out for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was playing a lot better during playoffs than I was earlier. I think the warming up showed.
Yeah, I think you were extremely consistent throughout playoffs. I mean, I think throughout the season you had really great highs, but throughout playoffs, I think your consistency was just top notch. And yeah, I hope we get to see you back. But congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to call out your point thing, I think part of it was the roster for QC last year, where they were putting in Hero and Lelouch, and I mean Vitas playing for Inferno kind of off the bench, led to a bit of like a lack of synergy there. So I think that ended up to them not being considered as good as they were performing to this peak. Do you think like a huge part of why your team was able to be so good was the synergy between all those players? I don't know how much you've gotten to play with them in the past, but your team just played as a consistent unit the entire time, and I think that's probably why we saw the other roster not perform as well. I think synergy was a huge factor. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
I mean, I think just individually, a lot of us were real standouts. To be honest, I mean, I could literally go down the line, but I want to give a special shout out to Kage, who hasn't been interviewed yet. He's getting the.
That's why.
I don't know if it's the first ever, but back-to-back Scrim Zone champion.
You're looking at another one, but.
Oh, okay.
There's been a couple.
Yeah.
But one,
I think he's
but
the
I mean,
third.
not many. And Kage, the glaze will come as soon as we get Kage in the skull.
Yeah, I mean, Kage played great. He's so willing to play something that is just like a terrible, terrible lane if it's gonna get us the win in the mid game, and I think that's really just been a key aspect of our team, and what kind of has set us apart from a lot of other teams that look similar is the flexibility that we have with draft, being able to pick priority things and then not draft for counters and instead just draft for good comps.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, I will say, with that in mind, I mean, I know you want to give any shout outs to anyone else on your bench or coaches. I think you guys have some involved people as well with draft and things like that.
Mason and Tim have been on the bench most of the season. They've been helping us out with draft. Huge shout out to them. And yeah, I mean, literally everybody I can go down the line. Everyone's saying playoff Mitch went crazy. He also is the only player, I think, this season who didn't drop a single series. The only series we lost had him on the bench. Snark obviously first team ADC, and then Demi, I think, huge level up over the season. Just kept getting better and better. More kind of characters, I feel like, got into the champ pool that allowed us to open up drafts. The Renata's a huge one. Glad you shouted that one out.
I've been saying that. People are like, no, like there's not like a whole tier, and I'm like, no, like
I love the Nico.
Yeah. A lot of champions of that really high tiers. I'm glad you called that out.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, and we want to get Kage in here.
Yeah, and please come back.
We'll see. I'm excited about the Kage interview.
Okay, I just want to see.
And
what
if I come back next season, you better not swap to ADC when I play against you. I want it to play against you on stage.
I'll be there. We'll do it. It's a promise.
Looking forward to it.
So we're either getting one or both of you or neither of you. Fun drama there. Okay, and this is what we've all been waiting for. Hello, Kage. Welcome to your interview. Obviously, Hero and Lelouch also back-to-back champions. So I think you guys are 3, 4, and 5 on the Scrim Zone all-time list. But congratulations. You were the one who actually played in finals for both teams. This is and a role swap,
And a role
too,
swap,
which
yeah.
is insanely impressive. So cannot shout that out enough. What was like the biggest challenge of going to top this season? Because it honestly didn't look like there were many.
It was a role that it's not my best role. And I knew we had Scott on the team, but like obviously we couldn't fit him in, and we had actually, funny enough, we actually just had finished playing another league with a similar roster that we had, and I had played mid lane for that league, so I was like, I don't want to play mid for this league for coming back again. So we pushed me to top lane and got Sandy. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn top lane, and so I started playing top lane, and kind of just took on the role of just put me on a tank. I'll hold the line, and and then as the season went on, I learned a lot more. I learned more champions, and didn't really get to bring them out, but I did learn a lot more top laners that this didn't work well for the team.
Hey, yeah, that's fine. We trust you. Do you think you'll stay in the same role going into next season, or do you think another role swap is in your future?
I mean, honestly, in my mind, I kind of want to do it. I want to see if I can go for the 5 roles.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's see the Infinity Stones, 5 role, 5 championships. Why not? I'm not doubting you at this point.
So we'll have to see how that works with team building, and but I mean, I'm super proud of my team. I'm super proud of them for trusting me with basically playing weak side all season, and they say sometimes you got to learn how to be carried, and I definitely felt like that was part of the game this season, was just let my team work and support them, and we'll win games.
I mean, that you did. Definitely an impressive run. I don't know, fact checking wise, if there have been other teams that have swept playoffs in this long format. I think there have definitely been teams who have done it in the short form, but very, very impressive run. Team only drops a single series, and it was a different roster. So this 5-man squad has been really, really impressive, really fun to watch. Was definitely high on you guys going into it. So I think y'all should just take care of it and enjoy the win. Maybe we'll get to see a Kage 3-peat. Maybe we'll see you on another team in another role, or maybe we won't. We'll kind of see how it goes.
We'll see. I'll see what offers I get. We'll see what happens. And,
all right. Well, Kage is fielding offers, guys. If you're watching.
But no, I do want to give a huge shout out though to Tim and Mason, and then also Eden. We did. They subbed in when we needed them, and we wanted to make sure they got some play time. So, and then when they came in, they did show up. So, I did want to give them a shout out. And I mean, obviously, the whole team is has been very supportive. Even when I do get down on myself sometimes, my team has been very supportive of me, and I don't really appreciate that.
Oh, that's always what they like to hear. So
yeah,
I'm glad that's the case. All right. Well,
Kage, one question: do you have a main role, or what do you consider your main role?
AD carry. AD carry is probably my main role.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
well,
when you were doing
congratulations.
signups, it wasn't apparent last season, so I wasn't sure. But I think someone corrected me on the stream. But yeah,
it was. I did with QC. It was just that there were a lot of mid lane opportunities for me to cover, so that was part of the reason. And I think initially I was supposed to go. Funny enough, for the QC season, I think I was supposed to be supporting Rat, and then it turned into Rat playing mid and me AD carrying and Paul supporting me, which obviously that worked out well.
Yeah, worked out great. Yeah. Well, congratulations again, and awesome stuff.
Yeah,
Hope we
thank
see you again.
Thank you guys for the cast. Look forward to next season.
Our pleasure.
Yep. All right. Well, celebrate however you want to, and shout out to all of Snarkify, all 8. Unfortunately, Scott got transferred, so he doesn't get to rejoice with the rest of them. But
doesn't get to claim the victory.
Well, You'll definitely see us two back for State of Scrims next season, and hopefully the finals cast. Or actually not hopefully the finals cast. Hopefully we're both playing in finals. Maybe on opposite teams, maybe on the same team. You'll have to see. And I guess stay tuned for the Summer League updates. Hey, captains, extensions are going to be open for a week. Captain feedback is going to be coming soon. And Bilgewater Brawl probably in May or June. So that should be fun. I don't know. Definitely a banger season. Very, very dominant playoffs. Not necessarily what I expected going into it, but it was a good run. And thank you all for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.